Hello YouTube, Captain Mac here, and welcome back to Captain Mac Live, the show where you get to watch me make all the mistakes and make fun of me while I do it. That's the idea anyway, right? How's everybody doing tonight? Looks like we got just a few people in here right now. I see Honda Jet's in there. How you doing, buddy? I was actually trying to respond to you in the chat, and it's this funny little thing. It's in subscriber only mode, and apparently I'm not a subscriber to my own channel, so it won't let me send you a chat message down there. Otherwise I would have a little bit ago. Either way, there's about a 20-something second delay on here, so do me a favor, let me know down in the comments there how the sound is. I want to make sure everything's working all right. I'm not getting the feedback that I was last week, so at least we've got that taken care of. But I do want to know how the sound is for you guys. Made sure that my microphone and all that good stuff is not muted, so just need to get somebody to let me know down there in the chat. In the meantime, matter of fact, since nobody said anything yet, I'm gonna see if I can say something here. Can y'all hear me? There we go. I can do it online, I just can't do it through the what you call it here, through the chat window on Streamlabs, which is kind of weird if you ask me. Boeing Business Jet 737, welcome to the channel, welcome to the chat. Skipped frames detected. Skipped frames, I don't know what it's talking about, but I'm going to shut my internet stream off there, or not my stream, but just the internet. Hopefully that'll help out a little bit. Shouldn't have too much going on here, so I think it's working out all right. You hear a lot of wind noise. Do you hear me talking? That's what I need to know. Do you hear me talking? We're going to hop into the flight deck here anyway, and that'll get rid of the wind noise a little bit. Anyway, yeah, the wind noise is XP Realistic. I don't know if you guys have used that. I'm pretty new to it, so I haven't done a lot of tweaking, and so it puts some ambient sounds out there, which is actually, for X-Plane, is really great, because if you sit outside or you take a view from outside an X-Plane while you're sitting on the ground, there's like no noise at all, which is kind of weird. So but now here we are on the flight deck. I don't know why I'm getting this little notification over here saying skipped frame rates. Not sure what that's all about, but okay, we'll clear that off. Yes, hear me talking. Well, that's good, because we all know I'm going to talk a lot on this, right? Looks like we just got 3 folks on here right now. That's all right, I can live with that. So let's start with how everybody's doing today. I'm doing good. I had a pretty busy day today, but super excited about getting this stream in. Had to bump it up to Tuesday, because tomorrow is opening night, or the first game of the season anyway, for the Colorado Avalanche. That's hockey, for those of you who don't know. If Pat was in here, he'd know. Pat's a hockey guy. I know he is, because he's up in Canada, eh? But either way, I'm a huge Colorado Avalanche fan, have been ever since they became a team, and they won the Stanley Cup last year, and we want to watch them make another run at it this year. So I'm super excited about it, and looking forward to that game tomorrow night. So that's why we're doing the stream tonight. Now, we are going to be flying the MD-11. Our route today is going to take us from EINN, or Shannon Airport up in Ireland, and it's going to take us down to ETAR, which is Bramstein Air Base. Yeah, so I keep getting this notification saying skipped frame rates detected over the last 2 minutes. I don't know what that means. Maybe you guys can let me know if you're having some issues with the frame rates or something there. But we are going to be flying our MD-11 today. Now, the only thing I've done on here is I've gone ahead and brought power onto the aircraft just using ground power, and the reason that I did that is because it's obviously dark outside. It's early morning. I set it for it's like 5, it's almost 6 o'clock in the morning, and I'm figuring we should be departing out of here into a beautiful sunrise. That was kind of the idea here. That's why we went with that. So with all of that in mind, other than that, we are essentially cold and dark, except that we have brought ground power onto the aircraft. So let's start taking a look at our checklist. You guys get busy down in the chat, down in the comments there. Let me know how things are going tonight, and we'll press on from there. Also notice, you'll see the Streamlabs bot thing going on there. That's new. I just learned how to do that. So there's a couple different things you can do there. I don't know all of them right now, but hey, just give it a go and play around and see whatever. Vova, that's all right. I know how it goes. Hopefully you'll be able to hop in a little later, but if not, it's going to be made a video, and you can always catch it later. So, but thanks for dropping in, even if just for a minute. I do want to say really quick, you'll notice that we are still doing our donation drive for Joe's PC. Now it says $270 on there. That is actually off by $100. So we should be at 300. I believe we're at 300 now. 375. That's where we're at right now. $375. And the reason that it's off is because we got some donations that weren't through the Streamlabs donation link, and that's okay. They were still through PayPal. But in order to update that little bar for those donations, I have to actually end it and then restart it, which is easy to do, but I just didn't do it this time around. I just want to see how it goes. So thank you so much to everybody who's donated so far. Super thrilled about that. I mean, just absolutely amazing. Folks just pitching in whatever they can to help us build a computer for Joe, and I'm really excited to try and get that together. And once we have the funds to build that computer for him, I think it's going to be absolutely fantastic. AJ's on the stream. Great to have you here, my friend. AJ, for those of you who don't know, AJ's a member of Mac Air. He's also a real-world pilot. And let's see, he flies. I know he flies A320s, but you were working on a 777 rating, weren't you? Or a 777 certification there, AJ? I haven't talked to you in a little while. Let me know how that's going down there in the chat. While you guys are getting busy on that, let's get busy with this aircraft and these checklists, because there's a lot to do and we don't want to drag on too long. So first things first, weather radar switch needs to be off. That's this guy right here, and it is. And fuel switches all need to be off. That's these three down here. Flaps, spoilers are down. Remember, hand up to arm, down to disarm. Flaps are in the up position. We're good there. Jump up top here, and the manual fuel dump, the man F and the fuel dump switches are both guarded. Yeah, both of those. Emergency power selector is off, which it is. It's this guy right here. Battery is already on. Cockpit lights are on. Master caution. I pushed it off. It keeps popping on. It's no surprise there. And then the external power switch is on as well. We've got the doors open. There is a like a ground handling thing for X-Plane. It's just not that great. I wasn't super impressed with it, and so I didn't load it into X-Plane 12. We are in X-Plane 12, by the way. So, but I just didn't load it in there. It just wasn't as great as I had hoped it would be. So, hey Joe, you jumped in here. Fantastic. I'm doing great, man. I really am. I'm glad you can make this stream. You gonna be able to hang out for a little while this time, or do you got to get up super early again tomorrow? Probably got to get up super early. But it's great to have you here, man. Thanks for joining us. Honda Jet, that's my friend Jerry. Jerry, thanks for joining us. AJ's a good friend. Volva's great. BBJ 737, I have a feeling I know who you are, but I can't remember off the top of my head. No offense. My memory doesn't work all that great all the time anyway, right? BBJ is a real coral. Oh, real. That's probably supposed to say real world. So BBJ 737, you're a real world captain? That's fantastic, man. Are you captain on 737, I'm assuming, right? AJ, early morning walks. Medical's coming up for ATPL license, and it's conducted by the Air. That's right, it's conducted by the Air Force for you. I saw that in our Discord just the other day. That's fantastic, man. I'm super excited for you. I really am. And I'll be praying for you on that as well, my friend. Let's press on here a little bit. I'll get back to the chat. You guys go ahead and chat it up in there. Doors are already opened. You guys saw that outside the aircraft there. Galley external power. We're not going to turn that on. It doesn't work anyway. And then the captain's SIS panel. We're not going to do it, but just as a reminder, that's this guy down here. The I thought I turned that off. You go away. SIS panel, and then the static air is going to be the next one. That's this one right up here. Display units are powered, and we're good to go. The time is not going to be correct because it's times. Well, the time's correct for the sim. It's just not correct for real world time, right? Radio selector VHF 1. We should have that turned on. Let's get that bad boy on there. And what is our? We got all kinds of stuff popping up over here. Let me. I'm just pulling up our ATIS frequency here, if I can find it really quick. Can't seem to find anything. 130.955. So we can have that on there and see. We'll see if we pick it up. 130.955. That's too far. If not, we'll use the weather from. Boy, that didn't work at all, did it? If not, we'll use the weather from. What what you call it. Look, it won't go. It goes to 975, 130. It'll go 950 and 975, and that's it. I don't understand that. I've had that happen a few times where it just won't pull it up. That's what the ATIS is supposed to be, though, 955. We could maybe try the ground on 121.8, but I don't think we're going to get it on there. So we're probably going to have to go with what Sim Toolkit Pro is showing us. So I'll show you guys that here in a few minutes. Not too worried about it. So that's fine. Pressing on from here. We can go to the initialization page on the FMC, make sure everything's good to go in there. We've got the correct air rack cycle and all that, which we do. And then flight plan initialization over here. And what I'm going to do, I don't like the way this checklist is set up. I want to hop up here first, turn all three of these on. We'll get the cargo fire warning test will be conducted automatically here. There it goes. Took its sweet time about that. Okay, and then we'll jump back down here, and then the flight plan is going to be EINN to ETAR, and that should already be saved as a company route. There we go. Not sure what the alternate is. I suppose I could have checked that, right? Alternate EDDL. So let's put that in there real quick. EDDL. There we go. There's the alternate. Shrink that down so I can see the chat over there. Actually, no, I need it up because I need the cruise level. 330 is going to be our cruise level. Flight level 330. That's because I put that where temperature goes. There we go. And then the flight number is going to be Mac Air Flight 2336. Nobody chimed in last time. Do you guys know what 2336 means? Yes or no? Initialize the IRS and then 185 on the cost index, so a little bit faster than we did last time. Let's see, taking a look over here at the chat. So Boeing Business Jet 737 or BBJ 737 is a captain on 737s. That is absolutely awesome. Long day at work, Joe. Got the flu shot. Ooh, yeah. You know, I was in the Marine Corps. For those of you who don't know, I was in the Marine Corps for 14 years. And every year for 14 years, they made a big fuss out of you getting a flu shot. So I got a flu shot every year for 14 years. And every year for 14 years, I got the flu, and it was nasty. I've been out of the Marine Corps for 13 years. Haven't had a flu shot once since I got out of the Marine Corps, and I haven't had the flu once since I got out of the Marine Corps either. So, BBJ 737, a Southwest captain. That is awesome. Do you ever fly through Charlotte? Let me know if you ever fly through Charlotte. We are going to press on with our checklist here, and I'm going to come back and look for that answer over there. Okay, jumping up top, we want to make sure the nav light is on. It's on when the light is off. It's really weird, and when you read through the FCOM, it does talk about those lights. That's the way they're supposed to be. So, emergency light, we can test that right here. There it lights up, arm it, and we're good to go there. No smoking, fasten seatbelt signs. Those can go to auto, down. And then what else we got? So next would be the engine APU fire test button. We're going to press it and hold it, but we're not going to start the APU right now.
Engine 1 fire. Engine 2 fire. Engine 3 fire. Engine 1 fire.
Okay, now that Streamlabs thing that keeps it says if you're enjoying the content, consider smashing the subscribe button. I'm gonna have to change that setting next time because that's popping up way too frequently. I wasn't sure how frequent it would pop up on there, and so I just left it at the default. So I apologize that you guys will get spammed with that a little bit throughout the stream, but I will make it a point to make that timing a little bit longer. It's just a reminder, if you do enjoy the content and you're not subscribed to the channel, of course you can't be chatting right now because I got it set to subscribers only, but you know, hit the subscribe button if you haven't. I certainly would appreciate it. Let's move on to the annunciator test, or the annunciator lights test. And the overspeed warning is automatic with that, so that's just something to keep in mind. Now we're going to look at the cabin pressure system light. Now I'm just going to tell you right now, system lights, all of them should be off. Okay, so when the system light is off, that means the system is in automatic. When the system light is on, like that, that means it's in manual. We want them all to be in automatic, so we're going to go, anytime you hear me say system light, that's what I'm talking about, is those system lights there, making sure it's in automatic. Cabin outflow valve, verify that it's open. That's this needle right here. So up is obviously open, down is closed, so we're good to go on that. IRS selectors 1 through 3, we've already put those to nav, and that takes us back to our FMC down here. We've already done the initialization, and we are ready to start entering departure runway and so on. So we'll start with going to our flight plan, and then if you click on the airport right here, there's the route. Click on the airport, click on SID, and then let me pull this up over here. We are scheduled for, I tore a chunk out of my thumb earlier, the Abigu 3 Bravo departure, and it's going to be off of runway 24, which is going to work out pretty nice for us. Should be runway 24 anyway. Let me double check that. Yeah, we're going to be taking runway 24 from the Abigu 3 Bravo. Runway 24, and that is good to go there. So we'll insert that, and then just to make things easy, if you scroll all the way down to the bottom, it's not a super long flight, but it's going to take us a couple hours. And then ETAR, and we are not scheduled for a star into ETAR, which is interesting. It is obviously an Air Force base, so maybe they just don't have them. Well, no, they've got them. They've definitely got them. Let me pull up the charts here really quick. I guarantee they've got them. Stars. Nope, no stars. Alright, so we're not going to put anything in here yet because we don't know what the weather is going to be, so it doesn't make a lot of sense to choose a runway right now. So I'm going to leave that as is and get that page back up. So we're going to leave that like that for now. We'll go back to the flight plan page and just we'll go the other way. Be quicker this way. Alright, so there we go. We got that set up for takeoff. And then where do we need to go from here? Flight number, all of that stuff. Oh, we need to go back to the initialization page because I didn't finish that up. There's 3 pages here. So we go to the next page. This is where our fuel and all that is. Now, I haven't loaded this yet. We're going to do that right now. But before we do that, I'm going to go ahead and show you guys the flight plan. Take a look at the chat and see if I've missed anything. So here we are, Sim Toolkit Pro as always, EINN to ETAR with an alternate at EDDL. 625 nautical miles through the air, not too bad. We're looking at block fuel of 53,870. Now, as far as I can tell, we're probably going to fight some headwinds, so I might just round that up to an even 60,000 pounds. Come on down here, and we're looking at cargo of 198,800 pounds for a total payload of 199,100 pounds. Puts our zero fuel weight right at the max. So we'll probably have to just stick with the fuel we got at 53.9 and just see how it goes. Takeoff weight is going to be pretty close to max takeoff weight, and we're going to be close to max landing weight as well. So overall, we're going to be super heavy throughout this entire flight, which is awesome. That's the way I like it. So let me just take a look at the chat here really quick. Let's see. Always from LAX to New Orleans. That's just the same route over and over. That's got to be a little bit boring though, right? Let's see. If you service RSW, dinner and a beer on me. See, I was going to say the same thing. If you happen to come into CLT, let me know because I work at the airport, and I'd hook you up with some lunch or some dinner or something. So, senior first officer for Go Air, low budget airline for 8 years, then Emirates for 777 before COVID came. Yeah, the COVID that just made a mess of everything, right? Joined Air India, Boeing 777-787. That's fantastic. Let's see. Yeah, that's it for the chat right now. Okay, you guys carry on. Things are looking good. Is this a study level bird, Daniel? Yes, it is, my friend. It is very much a study level bird. I did a full flight tutorial on this. You can find it on my channel. If you don't know how, if you don't at least know the basics of how to get this aircraft started up, you are going to struggle with it big time. So, all right, pressing on here. We need to grab our MD-11 aircraft menu, go to our load manager here, and let's start getting things loaded up. So we're going to stick with the fuel, 53,870. So block fuel, we'll go 53,870. Taxi fuel, it's just as the default 2,000. I'm sure that's something you can change. I don't think we're going to use that much, to be honest with you. I think we're going to use maybe 700 or 800. I'm going to round it up to 1,000 just in case. But we are right next to the runway, so now you notice our zero fuel weight, center of gravity, and all that's way over here right now. It's because we got nothing in the aircraft yet. So let me scroll down here to the payload, and it's 199,100 pounds. Ooh, that's gonna be heavy. 199,100. That is literally maxed out. Now, Let me do trip fuel first, and then we might need to make a little bit of an adjustment here. Trip fuel is 28,309, 28,309. Okay, so you see that our zero fuel weight center of gravity is still just a little bit high here. So what we need to do, because this just slides forward and backwards, right? So if we were all the way like out here, then we can make an adjustment. But unfortunately, we're just a tiny bit heavy. I'm going to put this back around 10. That's pretty good. And then we're just going to take a tiny bit out. That's it. So we're going to go with 195,673, and that way our zero fuel weight center of gravity is where we need it to be. Because again, it's the zero fuel weight center of gravity, right? So even when we burn off the fuel, it's not going to change. So something to keep in mind. We'll apply this load configuration to the aircraft and the FMS, and you probably saw some stuff happen there. So there you go. So there's your block fuel, you know, your zero fuel weight. All that information was put in there for us, including the taxi fuel, trip time, all of that. Now we want to take this block fuel 53.9 and put it in the refuel quantity. I don't know why that is. I didn't really read into it. I just know that's what you're supposed to do. So there we go. That's taken care of. Now we've already done our departure. So we need to jump down here. Weight initialization is done. Fuel initialization is done. Takeoff and approach page is going to be next. We are not going to be using a flex temp. We are going to suck up the majority of that runway. I just heard noise. Who was that? Honda Jet donated 20 bucks. You are the man, sir. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. I'm super excited about building a computer for Joe. Joe has done so much for me over the years. He's done so much for so many other people. He's always giving of himself. And you know, just to be able to give something back to him, Joe's a great friend, he's a great guy, and to be able to give something back to him really just, it means a lot to me that so many people want to join me in that. So I really appreciate it. Thank you, Jerry, my friend, for donating $20. I really appreciate that very much. What else we got down here? You know what? I agree with you, Honda. It is a ton of fun. I love this airplane. I really, really like this airplane a lot. It is a lot of fun. Okay, let me get back to it here real quick. First of all, we're going to do a flaps 28 takeoff. Now, I'm going to just show you real quick, and I'm going to pop this up. I don't know if you know this. You can put on this flashlight. Very helpful when it's dark out, by the way. Flaps 28 is going to be this flap setting, so we don't need to use the dial of flap. I'm going to leave the dial of flap at 15 so that when we start to retract flaps after takeoff, there's another setting in there, right? But we're going to use flaps 28 because we are super heavy. Now, we didn't really need that, but there you go. You can turn it off. You got night vision goggles too. I'm not going to turn those on right now though. So we're going to do flaps 28. We're not going to do a flex temperature. Not going to happen because we're heavy. We are super heavy. So let me go back here. And what's my runway slope? It's positive 0.295. So we'll just call that 0.3. So here's what you got to do. This is the kicker here. Let me show you guys this page real quick. So this is a new thing. I did go ahead and update my Sim Toolkit Pro. It's a 1.0.5, and it's got this nice little thing. It shows us the wind is 170 at 10 knots. That is the same as the weather briefing that you get from the ATIS here, 170 at 10 knots, etc. Right? So it just gives us that nice visual picture, which I really like. It's going to be a strong crosswind. We're going to need to keep that in mind. But what it doesn't give me is what is the headwind and the tailwind component. Now, I happen, hold on, little cough in your face, gotta do it. My phone is almost dead too, but I need to go on my phone because I have on my phone just a little free Pilot Tools app, and I can go on here and I can do a crosswind, right? So it's gonna be runway 24, so runway 24, wind direction is 170, and the speed is 10 knots right now. So I do that and I hit calculate, and it tells me that my crosswind component is 9.4 knots and my headwind component is 3.42 knots, right? So basically 3.4 off the head, the rest is coming off the side. Now that's very helpful for us, if that'll move. You come here, there we go. Move that back over there. So when I come in here, again, my slope we're going to say was just 0.3. So you can do it, you don't have to put up, I found out. You can just do 0.3 slash, and then the headwind component we said was, we'll call it 3.5, right? So that should put it up and headwind. It didn't. Thanks for that. Thanks for making me look foolish. So we'll go up 0.3 3 slash headwind 3.5. All right, that should take it now. There we go. All right, so it rounded that up to 4. I guess I'll leave it there. That's fine. If you want your outside air temperature, you can just look up here, plus 12 degrees Celsius. So just put 12 in there. There we go. And then check and confirm V-speeds. We'll clear that off. So it's 136, 156 for rotate, and then 159 for V2. So definitely going to be having to get that speed up there pretty fast. All right, let's jump back up to the overhead here. We got to do the flight recorder test. That's this guy. You probably can't see it. Let me get the little flashlight again. So watch the needle on there. I don't know, you still probably can't see it, huh? Now you got to be able to see it. So that's what you're doing for the flight recorder test, in case you were wondering. Get the aviation flashlight back off. There are no bus fault lights on. The cargo temps are good. We're just going to leave them all right in the center. That works just fine. Engine ignition off light. It tells you that should be off. We haven't chosen which ignition we're going to use yet, and I'm not going to choose that until we get to the start sequence. Hydraulic system light, again, should be off, and then we're going to do the test. So turn the test on, close the cover, and then if you hop down here, and we'll change this over to the hydraulics page, and then I'm going to keep kind of going forward, but this test will start on its own. It does tell you to wait until the test is done. It says it takes about a minute. It takes a little longer than that. If you guys want to time it, you can let me know. Going for a walk. Oh, yeah, AJ, we are going to fly from Shannon down to Ramstein Air Force Base. So it's about a 2-hour flight, 2 hours and change. So when you get back from your walk, please jump back in and join us. We'd love to have you. All right. Moving on with our checklist here. See, it still hasn't even started, right? It's been at least a minute, and now it's starting right now. So there's the hydraulics test kicking in. Okay, jump back up top. I'm going to press on. Smoke and electric air selector, that's this guy right here, should be in the normal position. Drive 1, 2, and 3 switches are all guarded. That's drive 1, drive 2, drive 3. You can't tell. Cab bus as well. All those need to be guarded. They are. Trust me on this. Now we arm the emergency power. It's going to go through its self-test. Air mask switch, we want to verify that's guarded as well. That's this guy right here. Fuel system manual light off. Again, system lights. This is air, this is fuel, electric, hydraulics, right? So anytime we say that manual light or system light, we're talking about those, right? Okay, exterior lights. Landing lights are off and retracted. Nose light is off. Left and right wing and runway turnoff lights. That's these two here. Those are both off as well. Nav light, verify on and extinguish. So when it's off, it tells you it's off, right? Logo light can go on. I should have had that on already. Beacon and high intensity lights off. Flap limit and elevator, is it supposed to be elevator fuel, I think. Those should be auto and all lights extinguished. That's this guy up here. Cabin pressure valve, again, verifying that the cabin pressure valve is in the open position. Ditching switch, this guy over here is guarded. Anti-ice and defog, all these should be extinguished. So click on your defog, it's extinguished. That means it's on. And then we jump down here to the autopilot. A lot going on in this thing, right? All right, so what I'm going to do here, from this point here, let's do the departure briefing real quick so that we can look at any altitude restrictions we have or anything like that. So bringing this bad boy over here. Again, we are taking runway 24, which is just right over here behind us. It is clear to me that Shannon Airport does not really have a dedicated cargo area. I originally tried going down here where you see D21 and stuff, and then over to East Parking, and it didn't work. So this is a maintenance area, but we're going to use that as our cargo area, which makes for a really short taxi. ATIS isn't working. We saw that already. Not really sure what that's all about, but ground on 21.8, tower on 18.7, and then Shannon Center on 21.7. I keep getting asked the question all the time, are you going to use VATSIM? The answer to that for now is still no. I had to take a drink there. And the reason remains the same. I've just unfortunately seen too many streamers or content creators have issues with VATSIM putting copyright claims against their channels. And I've seen these big disputes, and I just don't want any part of that. But I may consider doing, I forgot the name of it again already, whatever that paid one is. The only problem with that is it is limited in where its coverage is. It's mostly in like the California area. So it would only be good when we're out there. So something to keep in mind. Taking a look at our departure briefing here really quick. Abigu 3 Bravo, imagine that's how you say it. Transition altitude's 5,000 feet. I gotta remember where. We got to look in the FMC. I got to find where you put that. It might already be in there, but once we get above 500 feet, we can start our turn out here to Aorous, and then we're going out to Abagu, if I remember correctly. We'll double check in our waypoints in there. We're either going to go to Abagu, Lunig, or Karum, but I'm pretty sure it's Abagu. So we'll take a check in our FMC and see what our waypoints are going to be. But other than that, we don't have any real altitude restrictions. We might have to be above 250 knots or fly up above 10,000 feet with flaps extended because we're super heavy. So just keep that in mind. If we're exceeding the speed limit, it's probably just because we're so heavy and we went ahead and brought flaps up. Now, I do want to jump down here. I believe if you go to performance, and then that's predicted at 10,000, transition 18,000. It's actually 5,000. Put that in there. Well, yeah, it lets me change it. Fantastic. And then we go to our flight plan page, and we're going out to Abagu. That's what I figured we were doing. Top of climb, and then it's direct to Bakur, and then so on from there. So pretty straightforward stuff. What else we got here? Let's put this back on the takeoff and approach page because we're going to need those V speeds. So we can go over here, and we said we're doing what? Flight level 330, right? I can pull that up on my flight plan real quick. Let's see, 330. Yep, that's what we said. So I'm going to put 33,000 on here. For some reason, that's not working. That was interesting. Like, that just went all bonkers, didn't it? So I can't seem to click and drag for some reason, so we're just gonna have to scroll it up. Oh, that went up really fast. So remember, it goes up in those 500-foot increments. I forgot about that. But when you go onto your descent and you get, I think when it's below 10,000 feet, it goes in 100-foot increments. So easy stuff there. Okay, pressing on here. Just again, we're just setting this this bad boy up. We're gonna need this light again. I'm still having a hard time seeing it. It should get pretty bright out here pretty soon, but yeah, good times. Okay, what do we need to do here? We need to set the barometric pressure. I can pull that on Sim Toolkit Pro as well, and it's 1015. Now I got to convert that, right? So let me show you an easy way to convert it. Just change this over to QNH, or not. It's this one here, isn't it? Yeah, there we go. So that's 1013, right? Let me zoom it in a little for you so you can see. All right, so if you just change, so that's inches in hectopascals, right? So if I change that to hectopascals, it's 1015, right? So I can put that up to 1015, and you can do both of them. So we'll just fly on hectopascals because that's what it is in this area anyway. And it should have synced them up, but it did not, right? I hate when it doesn't do that. So we'll change this one over. Yeah, it synced them up. Yeah, 1015 and 1015. All right, good. One less thing to worry about. What else we got to do here? Minimums control knob. I'm not worried about that. We just want to get above 500 feet. So if you wanted to, you could say, okay, let's set this to 500, right? And so that's our turn point. I knew it was going to shoot right past. There's 500 feet. So that's our turn point there. So we can set that. Nav display, PFD set as desired. Those are good. Indicated airspeed, 250 or alternate initial speed. We'll leave it on 250 for now. Bank angle selector is set to auto. That's the little notch up above that bad boy there. The altitude is set, and the AFS or auto flight system override switches are both in the up position. Now, I like to just remember, because it's not on the checklist, uncage that guy. Otherwise, you're going to wish you had probably later on. And let's see, pressing on here. Clock is fine. Gear lights verify for green, which they are. They did do an update on this so that it doesn't stay stuck out there. We'll put that on the config page. You'll see what I'm talking about here in a second. We open the config page, then we're going to do the gear test. So before, you would click, and you would have to click again to put it back. But now when you let go, it goes back automatically. So all you're doing is verifying that you get the 4 red lights above the gear handle and on the configuration page, which we did. So we're going to go on that. Let's do our throttle test. This is 1.
Stabilizer.
Not going to make you listen to the whole thing.
Stabilizer.
And then for whatever reason, throttle 3 doesn't do it. Still haven't figured that one out. Let's see, auto brakes to take off. And at this point, we're ready to bring in, close the doors, bring in the gangway, all of that good stuff. So if we go to the aircraft menu again, and we'll go to ground operations. Excuse me. Let's close the door. Close, 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 close. Turn those lights off. We don't need them now. Dismiss the stairs. We can get rid of the chocks. We got park and brake set, so we're good on that. We're going to leave the ground power unit on for a minute because we need to jump up here and turn on the APU. Remember, all you got to do is click it, and then it's going to take its sweet time starting up. It does take a while to start. Remember, once you get the APU up and running, you got to do the APU power here and the APU bleed down here. If you don't do that, you're not going to be able to start engines. Now, while we're waiting for a minute here, well, let's do a couple other things, and then we'll talk about engine start. So beacon light needs to come on at this point. There it goes. Auxiliary hydraulic pump 1 is going to go on. We're not going to actually do that until we're ready to start engines. So let me talk about the engine start. If you take too long on the engine start for this aircraft, you're not going to be able to start engine number 3. I don't know why that is. It's got like a timer on it. But there's a simple fix for that, which, as a matter of fact, Honda Jet on the chat there, he's the one who told me about this, and it does work. I've used it. So when we choose our ignition, we're going to be on B today, okay? Because I did a test flight earlier. I was on A, so you want to keep switching back and forth, right? So I'm going to be on the ignition B. If the engine number 2 won't start because the time's been too long, just turn the ignition off and then back on, and it restarts that timer. So something to keep in mind there. So once the APU is up and running here, there it is. Turn that on. Make sure you turn the APU bleed on. External power can go off. Go back in here real quick. We'll get rid of the ground power. And then real quick, I just want to jump outside and verify that everything's closed up. And you can see the sun's just starting to peek up over there. Fantastic. We're all closed up like we want to be. That's how it should be. Okay, so for the engine start, beacon light is on. Auxiliary hydraulic pump 1, that's this guy up here, that is going to go on. Engine ignition A or B. As soon as you click it, the timer is going to start. And then from there we go right into the startup procedure, which is very simple. So we'll turn that guy on. It's not super short time or anything, but you do want to get it going. So we'll put this on the engine page. We're looking for 15% on the N2. Alright, so that's right here is your N2. When it hits 15, we're going to introduce the fuel, and we're going to check our pressures, temperatures, quantities, all of that. So there's 12, 13, 14, and 15. Go ahead and introduce the fuel, and the engine starts automatically. I love the auto start. It makes life so much easier. Man, it got really quiet in the chat there, didn't it? You guys bored already? We got 10 folks on here. Who's having a good time so far? Bravo, Charlie, my man. Great to see you in the chat, buddy. Thank you so much for coming. I am doing really well. It's you says you're stuck at work all day Mondays and Tuesdays. Just passing by to say hi. Have a wonderful flight. Well, thank you so much for dropping in. I'm really grateful that you did. If you guys haven't had a chance yet, hop on over and check out Bravo Charlie's channel. It really is a great channel, guys. He does some great content over there and does some great live streams himself. So go ahead and check it out. It's Bravo Charlie 24 on YouTube. Thanks for stopping by, my friend. I really appreciate it. Same thing, we're looking for 15 on the N2 here. There's 13, 14, and 15. Introduce the fuel. So again, and because I was bumping my gums, what'll happen is if I pull the engine start switch for engine number 2 and the N2 does not start coming up, I'll need to reset that switch. So that's basically the gist of it, right? So we're just waiting for that engine to come up and stabilize. So when it gets around the 20s, you're usually pretty much good to go, and you can probably start the next engine. Because you see it's already starting to slow. So you don't really have to wait until it's fully up to 23. We'll go ahead and start engine number 2. And it looks like we got it. So we're good to go there. Now there is a way to do a cross bleed start as well, where you have engines 1 and 3 both running, and then you manually configure the overhead panel, the overhead air panel. And when you do that, you have to run the engines up to like at least 40% N1 to get enough pressure. So probably a lot easier to just go ahead and reset the engine ignition, right? I don't know if my content's that much better, Bravo Charlie, but be great to see you drop in. We're going to be on here for probably another 2.5, maybe 3 hours. So, you know, hope you have a good night at work, and hopefully we'll see you before we get done with the flight. All right, let's press on here. Again, you guys go check out his channel. Really, it is a great channel. He's being humble when he says my content's better. I think I do put out good content, but he definitely does as well. So, okay. We don't need to do the cargo door test button, but sometimes you'll get an alert that says cargo test fail, right? So if we see an alert on here that says cargo test fail, or you can check your miscellaneous page, which that's just the parking brake, believe it or not, and the status page as well. So you can check those pages. So if you get an alert that says cargo door test failed, then you do the cargo door test button, press and hold for 4 seconds. We're not going to do that right now because we don't have the alert. Alright, we don't need anti-ice. I think we're good to go on there. The air for the APU can go off at this point. So that's this guy down here. And then you notice it already shut the power off on the APU. So we can just turn this off by clicking on it and it's going to shut down automatically. External power is already off. We don't need to do the FADEC mode switches because we don't have the alternate mode for FADEC displayed down here. We got us a new subscriber, Mark Pierce. Welcome to the channel, my friend. Thank you for hopping on and thank you for hitting that subscribe button. I also see we got Space Force down here in the channel from the Philippines. Good morning to you as well. Thank you for joining us. And Super Hornet Driver is in. Great to have you here. He's down in Miami just to be an MD-11 flight mechanic, right? This aircraft is amazing. I don't know about you guys, but I love the MD-11. I don't know what it is about this airplane, but I absolutely love this thing. All right, let's press on here because there's a few more things we got to do. We need to get the taxi light on. So that's going to be, and again, I love this little flashlight is so helpful. So we're gonna nose light to taxi, and we should have a nice view outside now. Yeah, look at that sky out there, guys. That is awesome. All right, nose light to taxi. Landing lights are still off. Let's see. You can put them to extended off, which is interesting. I didn't know that. We don't need to push back. And then we want to verify that the PFD says taxi, which it does right there. Now, before we actually pull out for the taxi, we need to make sure we set our flaps and all of that good stuff, right? So, first of all, flaps need to go to 28. So there's our first setting. That should just be the slats, right? And if you look over here, it doesn't show it on, does it show it on this side? It does. Okay, so it shows slats coming out and then slats are extended, right? Hit it again, it goes to flaps 15. That's our dial a flap. And then one more time, it says it's going to flaps 28. So that's where we want to be on there. TCAS needs to be set to TARA. That's going to be all the way down here. TARA. And then we need to do the stabilizer trim, which is supposed to be set to, let me zoom it in, 6.5 on the stab trim, and then we're looking for that on here. So just bring the stab trim up. Take a look at my full flight tutorial on this aircraft because there is a specific setting for that in the X-Plane 11 and 12 settings, so something to keep in mind there. Stabilizer trim is good, and then we need to do our flight controls check. So let's come down here, and which page is that? Where are you at? It was the config page, right? Yep, there we go. Okay, hold on, I gotta situate myself here. My rudder pedals seem to be working better. We'll see how it works out here. Let's go full left, full right, and neutral, and then all the way up, all the way down, neutral, and then full left on the rudder. And let's see if it bounces around. Full right on the rudder. It looks like it's doing good to go. Can you see the pedals down there? Not really, can you? Can't really see them. Yeah, that's all right. Anyway, flight controls check complete, and we'll put this back on the engines page. And where does that put us at? That gets rid of that page there. FMC to takeoff page, that's already done. And then for the nav mode, you need to push this to arm it, and you're going to see it's going to change over here, right? So we're going to push nav, and then you see, and it's easier to see over here from this view, you see nav is armed here now, so we're good on that. And then we taxi out to the runway. So let me get to a proper view here. Let's take a look at the chat. What we got going on over here? Let's see, Mark Pierce, hello from Newcastle, UK. Welcome to the flight, my friend. It is like the middle of the night for you, right? What time is it in the UK right now? It is, yeah, literally the middle of the night. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to join us on here. I really appreciate that. Let's see. Thank you, Super Hornet. I really appreciate that. I appreciate that you love the content. That means a lot to me. That is why I do this, for you guys. I enjoy doing it, don't get me wrong, but my primary motivation is that you guys are enjoying the content. So I really appreciate that, Super Hornet. That means a lot to me. He's flying the PMDG-8 to EDDF right now. Fantastic. And then Pierce just landed at EDDB, which is our alternate in the CRJ 700. Fantastic. 1:21 in the morning. That is just craziness. Crazy, crazy, crazy. All right, fantastic. Let me let's see. Let me start with this. Let's get the flashlight off. We don't need that for now. Not plugins. Aviation flashlight. Track IR coming on. A little jump here, and then we'll center that up. And then let's just, for the time being, let's go ahead and crank those floodlights up a wee bit more so that we can see a little bit better, and then that'll get us on our way, right? And then there's the panel flood as well. So we'll crank those up. That's going to make it a little bit easier for us. Let's go ahead and get the parking brake off, if I can find it. There we go. Parking brake is off. Aircraft will probably start to roll on its own a little bit, even though it's super heavy. I think there's a bit of an issue with the ground friction, but I could be wrong. I'm going to bring in a little bit of thrust, get us moving here. Remember, we're going to be going back that way. Not a super long taxi. We do have our flaps set where we want them at 28. We don't need too much thrust. This aircraft is just something else, isn't it, guys? I mean, it really is an amazing, amazing aircraft. There's a sudden change in the weather there, right? Well, not the weather, but the light. Look at the cloud cover. It's absolutely gorgeous. Take her up around the corner here, nice and easy. Good stuff. Honda Jet says that the MD-11 tutorial I did was very helpful when he started flying it. Well, I appreciate that very much, my friend. I like doing those tutorials quite a bit. There's two downsides, I would say, to doing tutorials. Number one is sometimes people want tutorials on an aircraft I just don't have, and I don't have a lot of money to buy aircraft, so sometimes I'm just kind of in a pickle where it's like I'd really like to do this, but I can't. And the other downside, it's not really a downside, it's just a fact of doing them, is the editing process for full flight tutorials is a very, very long process. I am currently in the process of doing some advanced tutorials for the PMDG 737. So these are much shorter, so they're quite a bit easier to actually put together because they're so short, but there's a lot of them, right? So like I'm not even done with the startup procedure. I got 7 videos and it barely gets you going, right? So the advanced tutorials really take a long time. So we do need to arm the spoilers here. So there we go. Spoilers are armed. That gives us our little green box down there. Let's take a look at our ready for takeoff and all that good stuff. So landing lights and high intensity lights need to come on. I know we're not on the runway yet, but I'm going to go ahead and put them on anyway if I can get to them. There we go. That guy left and right turn off lights can come on. And just so you guys can see it, there's the high intensity. That's your strobe lights. All right. So those are on. Auto flight needs to be armed, right? So the way we do this, see right here where it says takeoff clamp. Now watch, I click auto flight once. Takeoff clamp goes away, or not the takeoff clamp, but the box around it goes away. Okay. So we arm that. We have the green box on our EAD, and then we're going to pull up in position and hold, and we'll do the rest of the checklist. And we're going through it a little bit slower on this because, quite frankly, that's the smart way to do it, right? There's a lot going into this aircraft, and I am no expert or master of it by any means. So just bringing in the thrust nice and easy. I don't want to just start, blazing off down the taxiway here. We are going to try and get lined up as close to the end of the taxiway as we can, because how much taxiway or runway? I said taxiway too, didn't I? I meant runway. We have 10,495 feet of runway. So we do have a lot of runway to work with, but we're also going to use a lot of runway. So keep that in mind. This bird's heavy. We might be surprised though. It might not use anywhere near as much runway as I think it will. This thing's got a lot of power in it. I love those lights, how they're shining across the ground like that. That's really great. Alright, a little bit of asymmetric thrust. Shouldn't need a whole lot. And then remember that landing, or that nose wheel is quite a bit behind you. So, nice sharp turn here. Look at that runway laying out there. And then look at those clouds, right? So when we get above those clouds, it's going to be much, much brighter out. I think it's going to be pretty cool. Climbing out is going to be a lot of fun on this flight, I think. I did a flight for the Life of Virtual Airline Pilot for a video yesterday morning, and it was probably one of the bumpiest flights I think I've ever flown in a flight simulator. I mean, it was just non-stop bumps from start to finish. So, all right. Another cough in your face there. Let me take a little drink. You're going to look at the ceiling. I know. It's called an overhead. All right, ready for takeoff. So, we're not going to set the parking brake. It tells you to do that. I'm just going to hold the brakes. Thrust lever is going to go forward until takeoff thrust is displayed on the PFD. All right, which it should show up right there, but I don't think I've ever actually seen it pop in. And then it says verify takeoff clamp is indicated following takeoff thrust. So maybe it'll pop on and then pop off, and I've just been missing it. And then we'll release the brakes. And then once you advance the throttles past, it's supposed to be 65, but a lot of times I think I got to go to like 70 to get it there. So I don't know. But either way, let's go ahead and advance it up. Hey, Pat's in here. What's going on, buddy? Great to have you here. Thanks for joining us. I'm really glad you could make it. All right, there's 61. I'm going to release, and then I'm going to bring him up a little more, and you'll know when there's takeoff thrust just kicked in. Fantastic. All right, here we go. Oh, that crosswind's going to be, that's going to be ugly. I already have quite a bit of rudder in there. Airspeed is alive. There's 80 knots. Woo. Crosswind's tough. Coming up on V1 here. Looking good. Be on V rotate here momentarily. There's rotate. Watch out that right wing doesn't drop on you. Nice. Positive rate of climb. Gear coming up. Following the flight director, but watching that speed, because I think that flight director often wants you to climb a little bit faster than the aircraft really should be climbing. Start our left turn. We're above 500 feet. Keep on turning, baby. There we go. Come on around the corner.
Stabilizer motion.
Yep. That's automatic. That's not me doing it, just so you know. It automatically is adjusting the stabilizer. Kind of has that, a little bit of that fly-by-wire stuff from Airbus, just like the FMC is a bit of a cross between Airbus and Boeing. Same thing with the flight controls, right? So, ooh, that wind is strong. Nice. All right, bring her back over. We're not going to fight it real hard to stay right on that, but we're going to just inch it back over there. I want the nose to start coming back down a little. There we go. See, that's what'll happen. You'll end up chasing that flight director. I don't want to do that. Right? So we're not going to chase it super hard or anything like that, but I do need that nose to come down because I need the speed to come up. See how that flight director came back on its own? So let's get that nose down a little bit. Just putting a little trim in it. There we go. That's what I want. All right. Now, the auto flight's a little different on this, so let's hit auto flight again, and it should automatically, now it's taken over nav and vertical navigation because we armed the nav before we took off, but what it's not doing is the speed, right? So you notice this, look at our speed right now. We're like right on the edge. It is so close, right? So I want this speed to come up. I really do. So I'm going to go to FMS speed. Come on, go to FMS speed. It's still in takeoff clamp. Come on. There we go. Now it's going to FMS speed. So if you look on there, you'll see it's at 185 is what it wants. We can take out that first setting of flaps here pretty soon. But I really need to be up, because you see that's flaps 35 right there. Like, you're out of your mind if you think I'm going to go, I'm at flaps 28, right? So that's, if I'm not mistaken, the maximum speed for flaps 35. Yeah, it's always, that's one thing I still don't fully understand about this MD-11 is the flap configurations, right? The flap schedule. Now we are above 5,000 feet. That is our transition altitude. So we're going to set that to standard. So my fear is, now watch this, I'm going to bring the flaps to, it's going to go to 15. See them going to 15, and then you should see this start creeping up. It is a little bit, but it's not bad. So we're looking good there. We're flaps 15, just climbing real shallow. Now we'll go to just slats. Let's go in flaps 0 and slats only, right? Okay. And now we can retract the slats, and look at it, it's bumpy out here. We're all over the place right now. You see this aircraft is bouncing around? Oh, that's good stuff. Good stuff. How's it looking on the stream for you guys? Everything nice and smooth? Excuse me, got a little hiccup there. Is everything nice and smooth, or are you getting a lot of stutter? Because when I look at my feed of the stream, it looks like it's getting a lot of stutter, which is really unfortunate if that's the case, because quite frankly my frame rates are smooth as silk. Like, I have not had one stutter or dropped frame rate at all on my sim. So if you guys are seeing dropped frame rates, then that is definitely going to be the ooh, it's bouncing all over. That's going to be the streaming software, right? So I really hope that it's not stuttering for you guys at all, because this is absolutely beautiful. Yeah, let me know down in the comments, because I get a notification. It says that it's having some skipped frame rates, but is it choppy, Pat? Yeah, I don't know why it's so choppy for the stream. That's so weird. Because everything else is running smooth as silk, right? Like my flight sim is super smooth. So it's got to have something to do with the internet, and I have a sneaky feeling I know exactly what's happening. I think my son-in-law is out there playing one of his games right now. Sucking up some of that internet. That's what I think's going on. I have to go yell at him. You can't use the internet when I'm live streaming. I am so sorry for the stutters, guys. Hopefully those will clear up here soon. He's got work tomorrow, so he needs to go to bed. As we get up to cruise here, those stutters should start to go away. I really don't understand them, but I tell you, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and just mute the microphone for a minute. We're above 10,000 feet here, so let's just jump up and get the landing lights off. Maybe. Come on. There we go. Landing lights off. Off. And what do you say we jump to a nice outside view here? Oh, that's pretty, isn't it? Alright, here's what I'm going to do. I know that's just a little bit loud. I apologize. Turn your speakers down for a few minutes. It looks like not everybody's having stutters though, but I'm going to just go see real quick. My son-in-law's right in the other room. I'm going to see if he's playing a game online. If he is, I'm going to see if he'll hop off for me for now, and I'll be back here in just a minute, guys. Alrighty folks, I am back. Can everybody still hear me alright? I do apologize for any choppiness. My son-in-law is playing his game. He seems to think that's not having an effect. I don't know if it is or not. All I know for certain is there's no reason. I mean, like I said, it's smooth as silk for me. So it's something to do with the stream itself that's causing that right now. I've got Gigabyte internet, and I've got it hardlined in. I'm not running off Wi-Fi or anything, so I don't really know why it's doing that. And unfortunately, there's nothing I can do to like reset it midstream. That would just end the live stream. We don't want to do that. So hopefully it smooths out for you guys a little bit here. There is, I don't know if you guys know, I set this up. There's a game you can play in the chat if you guys are interested. And again, for the constant Streamlabs subscribe suggestion there, I will change the setting on that so it's not quite so frequent, but I don't think I can do that midstream. I'm taking a look at my settings right now, to be honest with you, and just see what I can do. If I can find it on here again. Where is that at? It's not in there. Ah, there it is. It's called CloudBot. So, it's up to you guys if you want to give this a try. Let me just, so that's a timer. Let me see if I can edit that while I'm streaming. So, okay, let's do this. I'm going to change one setting and see if it takes midstream. I don't know if it will. And then if you guys want, if somebody wants to type in !heist, H-E-I-S-T, that'll start a game in the chat. And we'll see if that works. There's a way to earn, like you can earn. It's like a currency. It's not really a currency though. It's my currency. You'll see what it is if somebody gets it working. But yeah, I do apologize again that the stream is just a little bit choppy. Really don't know why it's doing that. I am not having any issues with choppiness. What is with the? Look at the light though. What is that doing? You guys see that? You'll see that in a second, I guarantee it. It's like constantly changing it. That's so weird. That's really weird. Oh man, that's gonna give somebody a seizure. I wonder if it does it outside. It does, but it's not quite as bad. I'm trying to find a view where the, I don't know why the light's doing that. You guys see like it's the clouds in the background are just like flashing. See that? I mean, it is, you know, X-Plane 12 is still in beta mode, so I'm sure that has something to do with it. Oh my gosh, the choppiness on the stream is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Alright, well, hopefully it smooths out a little bit here, guys. So, with that in mind, we've got a couple hours of flight time here. We are looking at, we're just getting off on the departure here. And I don't know what our weather's going to be yet, but take a look at Sim Toolkit Pro over here. Shrink that down. As of right now, it says the wind is calm. Last time it told us the wind was calm. That was so not true. So not true at all. So I don't think the wind is calm. Still creeping our way up to cruise altitude here. Looking pretty good. 1:38 in the morning mark. Thank you so much for the subscription. I genuinely appreciate it. And I hope that you sleep good, my friend. Have a great night. Everybody say goodnight to Mark real quick. Send him off properly. So we're looking at just a little under 2 hours departure time. You know I'm going to try and butter it, Mark. You go back and look at my videos. I'll float it 3/4 of the way down the runway to try and butter it. Then I'll slam on the brakes. That's how we roll around here. So it should be nice and smooth, right? Although it'll be hard with as heavy as this thing is. We're getting a good ground speed right now, 480 something knots. That's just climbing as we continue to make our way up to cruise altitude. So super stoked about that. Make the flight just a little bit shorter. Thank you kindly, AJ. Not too bad of a takeoff. I tell you what, the amount of power in this aircraft is just something to behold, isn't it? With those 3 engines on there, it's something else. Let's put this on the progress page, and let's take a look here, so I just want to make sure we got a couple things set up properly here. So this is one thing I've noticed it does, is it'll basically put 330 for every single waypoint. Well, it didn't here. It's got a top and descent in there, so we're going to go on that. And then that takes us to our discontinuity, because we don't know which runway we're going to be taking it. Now, the runways in, let's jump that back. The runways at, if I can get my brain to function here. The runways at Ramstein are super long. We've got 9,841 feet and 10,497 feet. There's a lot of runway to work with. Keep in mind, of course, this is an Air Force base, so essentially what we're going to do is we're going to go down to ramp 1. And I'll show you guys that in a little bit. That's where we're going to end up, because that's about the only place that can probably take our aircraft anyway. So, something to keep in mind. Jump this back up. Looks like the flashing has stopped, so that's good. Just passing 28,000 feet, 543 knots on the ground speed. That is a beautiful thing. I love that tailwind. I love it, love it, love it. Originally it was forecast to be a headwind, unless I was looking at it wrong or something. Alright, so as we're finishing up through the climb here, let's take a look at our climb checklist. We did most of this anyway, but you know what I didn't do is I didn't disarm the spoiler. Jump over here. I forget to do that quite often, actually. So get the little hand, pull it straight down. Auto brake can go off if it didn't already. Let's move to the side a little bit so we can see it. There we go. Auto brake's off. Anti-ice, I'm not too worried about it. We're definitely low on the temperature. It does say on here if you're under 10 degrees that you should turn the anti-ice on, right? So let's turn it on. Jump up top here. This is our anti-ice here. So we got engine 1, 2, and 3, and then wing and tail. You can turn all of those on. And we're going to go on. Altimeter is fine. Landing lights are retracted. And then for cruise, it's just manning the radios, checking the performance and progress pages, and so on the FMC. So nothing real special to do there. So we're basically going to hang out. So somebody in the chat. Oh, look at Pat pulled the METAR for me. Just so you guys know, if you're a member of Mac Air, you get access to our Discord. We actually have a bot in our Discord that lets you pull the METAR. So the METAR for ETAR is, yeah, it's showing 0, 8,000 broken, and 3024 on the altimeter. So we'll see how that holds out. Pat, when we get close to our top of descent, we'll just give it a little while here. I'll ask you to pull that again for me. So somebody type into the chat there, type exclamation point and the word heist, H-E-I-S-T. I want to see if this little game works. I don't know if it's going to work or not. We're about to find out. Somebody will do it. I had to drink an energy drink. I was feeling so tired earlier. I have no idea why. She overspeeded on us. We're set on FMS speed, right? What is this thing doing? Interesting. See, the speed's climbing again. Okay, let's bring the speed down here. So let's bring it down to 300. Yeah, see, that's the overspeed protection. That's why it's pitching up. But the auto throttles don't seem to be working here. They're not moving at all. Let me just roll the throttles back for a minute. Speed right now. It should be on FMS speed. What is FMS speed set to? 0.845. So why is it still climbing? Just rolling the throttles back again here. That's interesting. I don't understand why it's not flying the FMS speed. It should be 845. It should be coming up right here. Now, our other throttle is going to increase. No, they're not. Well, I'll do it myself. That's interesting. I don't know why the auto throttle is not doing its job. But we need a little more thrust there. So we're still slowing. I don't want to slow too much. That is interesting. Okay, apparently we need a lot more thrust there. Set that to 300 for a minute. Now when I hit FMS speed, you see it changes to 0.845, and the auto throttle should kick in. But for some reason it doesn't seem to be working properly. So that's interesting. Let us know how it goes there, Pat. Matthew Battaglia, he tried it. Nothing happened, did it? That's interesting. I wonder why. There might be a delay on it. Give it a minute, see if something happens. Still trying to figure out the speed here. See, it's going past it again now. So let's bring it back just a little bit again. BBJ 737, I'd be honored if you'd become a member. You are absolutely awesome. I've got 3 members right now. And I gotta tell you guys, man, whether it's membership, subscribers, I am just so grateful for all of you guys. You guys are all fantastic. I love you. You guys really are. You're awesome. Just trying to even out number 2 and 3 here right now. Just see if we can get her to settle on a speed. I don't understand why the auto flight is not handling the speed right now. It should be. It's still showing takeoff clamp though. You see that? Why is it doing that? I'm just going to go back here. Did I miss something? I don't think I did. I know what I missed. Yes, I did. Profile. That's what it was. I missed hitting profile. Once you take off, or right before takeoff. Is it right before? No, it's after takeoff. You're supposed to hit profile. That's what it was. I missed it completely on the checklist. How crazy is that? Airman MD, my friend. Look at that. We got a new member, guys. BBJ 737 has become a sponsor of the channel. Thank you so much, sir. I genuinely appreciate it very, very much. Thank you. Airman MD, welcome to the stream. Which is my aircraft? A330, 340, 320, 737, 747, 777, or 787? If I had to choose amidst all of those, I would go for a 777. So make a note, guys. After you take off, make sure you hit the profile button. If you don't hit profile, then it does not manage the speed properly. So BBJ 737 is now a member of the Captain Mac channel. Thank you so much, sir. I am truly, genuinely grateful for that. You're awesome. 9 a.m. in the Philippines, but you're off to bed for the day. Working the night shift. Thank you so much, Space Force, for joining us. I genuinely appreciate it. I hope that you sleep well and that when you return to work, you have a great time at work and that things go smoothly for you. Thank you so much for jumping in here. I'm really grateful. Alright, so now that we got the speed issue hashed out, don't forget to hit the profile button. Let's increase this. I never increased it. Look at all them waypoints there. That's awesome. Is the stream, has it smoothed out for you guys on there? It's like I said, it's been butter smooth for me. I haven't had any dropped frame rates or anything, so it's definitely the stream that's doing it. A lot of waypoints there. Alright, how we looking here? Looks like we got about an hour 40 is our ETA, give or take a little bit. 524 knots on the ground speed, that's fantastic. and things are going good. Once I remembered or realized I needed to hit the profile button, smoothed it right out. It's running smooth for you, Matthew. Fantastic. Thanks for letting me know. All right. Well, unfortunately, the little game that you were supposed to be able to play didn't work out. So, Space Force, it'd be great to see you back. Thank you so much. And like I said, I hope you sleep well, and hope to see you again. And we are going to continue trying to do streams on Wednesday nights for now. Again, we did this one tonight instead of tomorrow because there's a hockey game on tomorrow. Pat wasn't on when I mentioned it earlier, but I guarantee Pat knows hockey season started. You guys, those of you who don't know, Pat and I have known each other for several years. Pat's a great guy. He lives up in Canada. I give him a hard time all the time because, you know, I'm an American, right? That's what we do. Not really. I just give him a hard time because I like Pat. So, but yeah, I was telling him earlier, Pat, tomorrow night, it's the season opener for the Colorado Avalanche, Stanley Cup holders from last year. So I'm super excited about that. That's my team. Has been since 1996. So, yeah, looking forward to that. But normally, guys, at least for the time being, now I'll just let you know right now, in November, early in November, my schedule is going to change at work. And that should be a permanent change. And when it does, I'm going to move the streams to Friday nights, which I think for most folks would be a huge help. Yeah, sorry, Pat, really, sorry. But, yeah, anyway, yeah, Pat's up there in Canada. Sorry, Pat. Sorry, eh? That's what I tell him all the time. I tell him sorry. Now, let's just ask Pat. We got him on here. Pat, do you guys really say sorry that much? Swiss 001 says it's a butter machine. Which one? The 777? The 777 is I gotta tell you, I think that's a big part of the reason that that Captain Sim's offering for Microsoft Flight Simulator bothers me so much, because I really, really love the 777. It's just an amazing, beautiful, beautiful plane. I love that it's this big fat beast, but still so graceful. Just beautiful lines on it. I just really love that airplane. And Captain Sim just really, in my opinion, really just did some trash work on it. It's really unfortunate. So, yeah, FSX to P3D, not able to fly, the PMDG, yeah, I know. Yeah, TFDI is definitely working on theirs, definitely looking forward to it. I will tell you this, Matthew, I've said this before, I've had X-Plane for years. I've had it for years, and I never really messed with it much, and there were various reasons for it. A big part of it was just, it is very different graphic user interface and so on, but it's not difficult. That's the thing. It's not difficult. And once you jump in and start messing around with it, you won't regret it. You really won't. It is a great sim, and that's not taken away from Microsoft Flight Simulator. Because let's be honest, compared to P3D, FSX, FS 2004, Microsoft Flight Simulator is a beautiful sim. It really is. So not taken away from that at all, but you will not regret X-Plane. And I'll tell you this, right now, so X-Plane 12 beta is out right now. Now this is the beautiful thing. I love that they're doing this. You can buy X-Plane 11 right now for like 30 bucks. The full X-Plane 11 for like 30 bucks. If you buy the Rotate MD-11 for X-Plane 11, it's free upgrade to X-Plane 12. You don't even have to upgrade. You just have to install it on X-Plane 12 and then run the updater for the beta version, right? So I have X-Plane 11 and 12, and I love 12. Looks really good, and it's going to look better by the time it's full release. I guarantee it. But some stuff doesn't work as well in 12 as it does in 11 right now. And so I still fly quite a bit of stuff in X-Plane 11. If you're considering it and you want a good MD-11 right now, cough. That was a good cough in your face. Now I know TFDI is working on theirs, and it's going to be fantastic. It is going to be an amazing airplane. There's no doubt in my mind about that. I don't know what their release schedule is looking like. It's probably still a little ways off, or it might be right around the corner. I really don't know. But when it comes out, it's going to be fantastic. In the interim, though, and that was part of the reason I went with this aircraft, is I love flying the MD-11. It is just a wonderful airplane to fly. flight, and Rotate Sim has done a great job on this airplane. They really have. And another perk for X-Plane 11/12 is the Zevo 737. So I've been switching back and forth between the Zevo and the PMDG for my life of a virtual airline pilot right now. That Zevo 737, that is something else, and it's free, right? So in Microsoft Flight Simulator, you got the fly-by-wire A320, which is really, really good, and that's free. And then you go over to X-Plane, and you got the Zevo 737 is free. You know, you can fly some great aircraft in both sims without having to spend a whole bunch of money. And with X-Plane 11, I think it's still $30 right now for X-Plane 11. You can't go wrong picking that up, to be quite frank with you. So, Pat says, not really, no, they don't say sorry. You guys don't say sorry that much. Okay, sorry, Pat. Sorry to hear that. Sorry. Hard to fund two sims at once, though. Yeah, I agree, Matthew, and that's why I was saying, you know, there are some great free aircraft in both of them. So it really depends on what you like to fly. For me, you know, there's always the payware options that are always very enticing for me. Like I said earlier, I love doing the full flight tutorials. Unfortunately, sometimes it's an aircraft that I just don't have the money for right now. But you know, you've got a great free 737 for X-Plane. You've got a great free A320 for Microsoft Flight Simulator, and then you can really pick and choose, right? So, you know, this is a great MD-11. I'm going to fly it for many, 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 many hours. And when TFDI's MD-11 comes out, you can guarantee I'm going to be flying that as well. But you just, in my opinion, you can't go wrong, especially with being able to get X-Plane 11 so cheap right now. And most aircraft are giving free upgrades if you buy them. So if you buy that MD-11 for X-Plane 11, fly it for the next few years, it's already free for X-Plane 12. So if you decide to upgrade to X-Plane 12, you don't have to rebuy the aircraft. That's one thing I hated, absolutely hated with P3D. Lockheed Martin, listen, I work for the federal government here in the United States. I'm going to tell you right now, Lockheed Martin's a government contractor, and they have mastered the art of squeaking every penny they can get out of somebody, and they showed that to me with P3D. That's why I never went past, I think I went to 4.5, and I refused to go beyond that because I'm not going to pay for that whole simulator again. I think that was ridiculous. And then you have to buy all the aircraft again because all of a sudden none of your aircraft are compatible. Stuff like it was just ridiculous. It drove me bonkers. So that's what I really, really appreciate about what Laminar Research has done between X-Plane 11 and 12. V1 rotate 777 on. Oh, you flying the 777 right now? Nice. BBJ 737's flying it right now. Where are you flying to? You still have Flight Simulator 95? Good man. I've still got FSX and FSX Steam, but they're not installed. I still have all my old flight sims, but let's be honest, a big part of it, you know, I'm constantly trying to make sure I'm getting updated content for you guys. And so that's what keeps driving me forward with the sims. I probably, if I wasn't doing YouTube videos, I'd probably still be flying P3D just because I wouldn't have wanted to spend money on a new flight sim. But I definitely want to make sure I'm getting recent and updated content out for you guys. So, you know, it was worth it to get the new sims. Well, AJ, I'm going to have to argue against that, my friend, because I have a wife and 9 children with one on the way. And I can promise you right now, I'm not making enough money on YouTube to fund my flight sim habits, so if I could buy them, you could buy them. You probably make more money than I do. Although I will say I am very blessed. I make good money at my job. God has really blessed me with a great job that keeps me home. I'm rarely ever away from home. And when I am, it's for very short periods of time. I've got a set work schedule. I get paid good, and my job is easy. So I'm very, very grateful for that. Going to Seattle from, where's PDX? Is that in Philadelphia or Pennsylvania? I'm sure I'm wrong about that. I would say probably, you know, probably one big drawback, downside, if you will, to doing flight sim videos is lot of times it's hard, you know, it's hard to find the time sometimes, right? Because I want to try and get a video out every week at least, and I want to be doing live streams weekly as well. And so trying to find the time to get the flights in, especially when you have longer flights, right? So, you know, when I want to do a flight that's 4, 5, 6 hours for a video, I have to be able to carve out a lot of time to be able to do that. Oh, it's Portland, yeah, that makes sense. PMDG. I don't know why I couldn't think of where KPDX was. You have 9 grandchildren? That's fantastic. You want a couple of mine? You can have them. I'm just kidding. I love them. They're fantastic. I love my kids to death. So anyway, yeah, the point I was making is there are a lot of times when I want to do longer flights, and I just can't really. You know, I have to try and plan my flights for my videos to be shorter flights, because I know it doesn't show up necessarily in the videos, but there's a lot of times where I've got just enough time to jump into my little office here, and it is little, it's like this tiny little cube, to jump in here, record a flight, and then I have to edit it later. Like right now I've got 2, 3, 4, I've got 5 videos that are done but waiting to be edited. I haven't even edited them yet, because editing is a whole other thing, right? So if I do, let's say, an hour-long flight, you know, that's probably 2 to 2.5 hours for a video, right? Because you got all the prep, you got to make sure everything's set right. There, you know, you have to. Sometimes you got to pause the flight so that you can go in there and make sure you get some certain camera angles, just little things like that. You know, things that make the flight a little better. So it's probably 2 hours, you know, maybe a little bit less for an hour-long flight. But then you've got the editing portion, right? And so, you know, all those times where you see the video skips ahead just a little bit, it's because either I babbled on like I do on a live stream and I just kept talking away, or every once in a while, because I fly so many different airplanes, right? I fly 737, 777, 747, MD-11, you know, the list goes on, right? The Airbus A330, A320, and so on and so forth. That every once in a while I just forget what I'm supposed to do. Like I literally just draw a complete blank, like I forget where a switch is or something like that, and I'm like, I edit that out of the videos. Not because I think you guys would, you know, I'm not embarrassed by it, it's the reality of flying a lot of aircraft, but, you know, you guys don't want to sit there and watch me go, over and over again, right? And over the years, I've been working at getting my videos shorter. So for the longest time, my average video length was almost 2 hours. Then I got it down to an hour and a half. Finally got it down to an hour. Now I have it averaging under an hour. I think I'm averaging about 45 minutes per video. And the whole idea behind that is to get you guys great content, but at the same time, give you something that's not going to take, you know, half your day to watch. You want to be able to watch the content, you know, and then go do whatever else you have to do. So TFDI looks to be maybe a year out, according to their update last week. So here's what I would say, Matthew, as far as X-Plane scenery. X-Plane 11 scenery is not great. The default, not great at all, but there's so much free scenery for it, including Ortho XP. I'm going to just lower this view a little so you can see that flashing. The Ortho XP is free, and you can really make it look good, but Ortho XP takes up a lot of storage space, right? We're talking gigabytes of storage space. So depending on how much you fly and whether or not you fly in specific areas regularly, you might find that the default scenery is not suitable for you, but Ortho XP is just a bit too much on the hard drive space, right? The default scenery in X-Plane 12 is looking really good. It is, but you see X-Plane 12 is still beta. You had the flashing going on out there and stuff like that, right? So, you know, it's just going to be a bit before, excuse me, I had a hiccup there, before X-Plane 12 is really fully up to snuff. But it comes down, I think it comes down to the question of what are you really looking for? If you're looking for you know, VFR type flying, well, Microsoft Flight Simulator is where you're looking for that right now, no doubt about it. But if you're looking for really good study level complex aircraft, including some great free ones. The Zevo 737 is a study level aircraft and it's free. Then you can't go wrong with X-Plane on that. That's not to say that we don't have at least a couple of offerings in Microsoft Flight Simulator as well. So it's kind of a toss back and forth as to what becomes best for you. But then you've also got the question of, for example, the MD-11. Right now, the only good offering for an MD-11 is going to be X-Plane 11 and 12. It's the only one. There's no other good MD-11 out there. But it is a really good MD-11, so there's that side of it as well. Oh, you're walking around the airport, AJ? Nice. I just like to go out and just watch the airplanes sometimes. My wife calls me a complete nerd for it. I don't care. That's fine. I love airplanes. And you know what? My 2-year-old son loves airplanes. Like when they fly over our house at about 5,000 feet on the star. I couldn't get my brain to come up with the word. Probably about 5,000 feet on the star over our house, and pretty consistently because of the way the weather is out here. And he hears them outside, and he wants to run outside, and he loves looking at them. So I took him to the airport, and where I park for work is it's right off the end of one of the runways, right? So when the aircraft are approaching from that direction, they come right over your head, and then when they're taking off, of course, they're a little higher by the time they get there, but it's still great. So I took him there, and we just took a little picnic lunch and just sat out there, and every time he sees an airplane, he calls it an awa right now. He says, awa? Awa? And it just over and over, because they're taking off on both runways. He just, for like 2 hours, he just couldn't sit still from all the airplanes. He loved it so much. So simmers sometimes make as much as a real world pilot. You know what? They do, but I am not one of them. I can tell you that right now. It's actually this funny little thing. It's kind of strange to me. I've got almost 9,200 subscribers now. But my average video views over the course of about a month is around 250, 300 views, depending on the video. My full flight tutorial on this MD-11 is pushing towards 1,000 views already. When I first did the Captain Sim 777, that one's got almost 2,000 views, the first couple of flights I did in that. So it just depends on the video, but it always surprises me a little. I've got so many subscribers, but I don't really get the view counts. Now I know, and I mentioned this before, how some YouTubers really boost their views and their subscribers quickly. I'm not going to do that. It's just not going to happen. I am grateful for every subscriber, and every single one has come to this channel on their own because they chose to, not because somebody paid them to come to the channel or anything like that. I'm not saying they all do that. I'm not saying all channels do that. I'm just saying I've got almost, I'm pushing towards 10,000 subscribers, and each and every one of you chose to come to the channel and subscribe to it, and I'm grateful for it. And God has blessed me with so many things, including the ability to do these videos and these live streams, that I just want to honor Him by just keep doing what I'm doing. And people are going to subscribe, and that's the way, and if they don't, they don't. That's okay. There was a time when I first started doing this, I had visions of making lots of money, and there were a couple of YouTubers doing flight sim videos at the time that they were really popular. They'd get massive numbers of views. Neither one of these two that I'm thinking of right now do flight sim videos anymore. They both quit. But I knew, I had actually talked with one of them, and I knew that he was making pretty good money doing it. When you get those really high view counts, if you're averaging 20,000, 30,000 views of video over the course of a month, and you're putting out a video every week, you're going to probably make, it's not going to be super tons of money, but you're going to make a decent little, bit of money to put in your pocket. And it's just not the way it is for me, and that's okay. I'm alright with that, because I'm going to keep making videos because I enjoy doing it, and I know there are people that enjoy watching them, so worth taking a look to get it back into to get you back into the MD-11. Yeah, my pleasure, Matthew. We'll be streaming again next week, so let us know. Hop on here next week. It'll be Wednesday at 7:30 next week. I don't see any reason why it'll have to change days right now. And if you're able to make it, hop on and let us know what you decided to do. New tour coming up for Mac Air African Union Airbus tour, and this 777-787. Nice. Yeah, those for the 777 and 787s, those tours can get long. And what, just so you guys know what AJ's talking about down there, AJ, he builds a lot of the tours over at Mac Air. So if you happen to be on here and you don't know what Mac Air is Millennium Aviation Company, MAC for short. And it is a virtual airline that me and another friend started several years ago. He has since gone another direction. And a few years ago, Joe, the one we're doing the fundraiser for, he took over as the Chief Operations Officer. And I tell you, Joe has done such a great job there in that position. He's a great leader, and he just really cares. And that's true of all of the staff members over at Mac Air. That's one of the things I love, is that, you know, they're ready to interact with people, they're ready to help people out. And there are other virtual airlines that have some good staff. There are. But most of the ones I've been in over the years, a lot of the staff is a little detached. And it's understandable to a certain point because it's a volunteer thing, right? But all our guys are volunteer too. And they're amazing. They do a great job. So if you're looking for a virtual airline that's got something different, especially it's got a staff that's really going to look out for you and want to help you out, Mac Air is definitely the place to go. And we've got something that really nobody else, even still some people have tried to copy it, they still don't have it. We started out with 3 divisions, we're up to 5 now. We have 5 different divisions that you fly from. You can fly any of the 5 from a single profile. You don't have to, you don't have to go to different airlines. You don't have to sign up for, a new profile to fly a different division. It's all from one profile. So we've got our open division, which is fly what you want, when you want, where you want. You don't have to take off where you landed. Same thing for cargo division, except that it's all cargo aircraft and cargo routes. And then you've got the historical division, which is like the old iron, right? Like the Constellation, the DC-3, some original routes from those. And then you've got your charter division. And in the charter division, you can create a flight. So if we don't have a flight schedule, you can create it, right? And then we've got our professional division, which is, there's not very many people in pro division. It is tough. It is our attempt at a realistic, real-world procedures flight operation. Not just how not just the flights themselves, but for the pilots as well. So you start out in small single-engine aircraft. You have to do a certain number of hours. Then you have to take a flight exam, where you have a live flight examiner who's actually on Discord with you, conducting the flight exam to make sure that you're doing things properly. And then you have to pass that exam before you can fly the next level of aircraft up. So it's just something completely different. I haven't seen anybody else who's done it as well as we have. BBJ737 says, I love how God is in your life. Me too. I went to Embry-Riddle, and it was the Lord who got me through, and all finished with student loans. Amen, brother. Yeah, you know what? Somebody brought it up last week on the live stream. They said, I think they asked if I was a Christian, and they said they thought that was fantastic. Listen, that's my life, folks. And I have had people come on my channel and say in the comments and stuff, hey, listen, that's great for you, but you don't need to be telling us that on your... Listen, this channel doesn't exist if it isn't for God. My life doesn't exist the way it does if it wasn't for God. It's as simple as that. So I'm not ashamed of, who's most important in my life. I'm not ashamed of what my life is supposed to be lived for. And that's for Jesus Christ. And that's the way it's going to be. And some people don't like that, and I understand. That's something you have to deal with on your own, but on this channel, God comes first. I can tell you that right now. 146 tours. Pat's on the staff over there as well, just so that you guys know. And he says we have 146 active tours at the moment, and a few on the shelf, including the ones that AJ was talking about. Pat, real quick, can you pull a fresh METAR for me? A METAR at ETAR? The Oceania Union Airbus tour is also tough because most of the airports won't have an ILS facility or have GPS VOR approaches. Yeah, and I'm enjoying that tour. I've been working on that one as well. So, and I learned something finally about an LPV approach, and I mentioned it in one of my one of my Life Virtual Airline Pilot videos that hasn't come out yet, but I'll just tell you on here. So an LPV approach, I kept asking, what is WAAS, how do I tune it in, and so on. WAAS is Wide Area Augmentation System, I believe is what it stands for. It's just it's a GPS thing, and you either have it or you don't. You don't actually tune anything in. You either have it or you don't. And there's a way to tell in the aircraft if you have it. Now I can tell you this aircraft doesn't have it, but if you have it, great. If you don't, that's okay. You can still fly an LNAV VNAV approach, and that's what I flew in a couple of those videos. You'll see those. They might be a month or two out, but I actually am more and more I'm liking RNAV approaches, and I think it's just because now that I've gotten back into the full swing of my flight simming, I enjoy flying the airplanes. It's as simple as that. I like flying them. It's a lot of fun. I love the challenge of it, and so when you're flying RNAV approaches, there's a little more for you to do. Now if you're flying an LNAV, VNAV, or an LPV approach, you can actually set your altitude setting on your MCP. That's this guy right here. You can set it down basically to the minimums, and it'll fly the approach using the autopilot. And that's the way those approaches are set up. An LPV has lower minimums because it's a more stringent required navigation performance than an LNAV, VNAV. So waiting to see if Pat pulls that ETAR for me, because we need to get set up. We got to descend here soon either way, but we might need to descend sooner. Let me see what it says over here on Sim Toolkit Pro. It is still saying the same thing. Change it up here and just see what. Still saying zero. WinCom 0 at 0. So altimeter 3024. So we're probably looking at what do we got for approaches? So we've got ILS to 8 and 9, 26 and 27, or we've got RNPs, and the RNPs are all LNAV only. Now that speaks a little to what I was just talking about. So you've got LPV, LP, LNAV and not RNAV, LNAV, VNAV, and then LNAV only. So LNAV only is the least stringent on the requirements for required navigation performance. So any one of these will probably work for us. If I'm looking at this though, so runway 8 is the longer of the two. So let me just ask you guys down there in the chat, would you rather that I flew an ILS or an RNP, required navigation performance, which is it's an RNAV essentially, to runway 8? You guys let me know. Pat, ETAR observe, WinCom, yeah, so COM win, so one or the other. So we don't have a lot of time. You guys let me know down there in the chat, are we going to fly the ILS or are we going to fly the RNAV approach? It's going to be runway 8 either way. There is no star, so it's either ILS 08 or it's the RNP 08. First one to pop it down in the chat wins the game. And there's a delay between me talking and you putting in the chat, so you gotta be quick. Still waiting. ILS says BBJ 737. You got it first. ILS it's gonna be, and let me just look at the chart here. And we are going to transition at mapping. That's going to work just fine for us. We're going to insert that in there. And then we're going to get rid of this discontinuity just by clearing that out. That's going to connect it. And in case you guys were wondering, yes indeed you can put this on plan mode. And then just like any other FMS, you can go through it. So we'll decrease that a little bit. So the big thing is mapping, right? We want to make sure that we don't have some crazy turn to get to mapping. And then it's on in from there. So if I'm taking a look at my altitudes real quick, I need to be at InBug. Well, mapping should be 5,000. It shows at 4,000 at InBug. That's fantastic. RIPOX is 3,000. That's on the money. And then runway 8. That's good. So everything's looking good there. We'll brief it here in just a minute. I want to go to the nav radio. And now this one's fun. So check this out. It's 108.95. But before I do that, real quick. How far are we from top of descent here? We might have already passed it now as a result of changing that up. Let me see. Map. Increase. Nope. Top of descent's a little ways out yet. Not super far. That's 80 miles. Yeah, we got a while. We got a while to go yet. So there is a place to find it on here. I believe it's on the performance page. Yeah, top it says still 113 nautical miles, so we're good there. So let's go over to nav radio real quick. It's 108.95. I want to show you this. I've shown it before. I showed it in the, I think I showed it in the full flight tutorial. So ILS 108.95 and then slash, and the course is 079 degrees, right? So you can put that in there, and sometimes, see it says not allowed, right? And then it's got all these duplicate names. Look at this, 108.95.95.95, right? So I'm going to show you how we fix this. Return to nav radio, clear that out, and let's do the approach briefing really quick, and you'll see what we got going on here. Close that out there, drag this over here, and let's take a look at this briefing. So it is going to be the ILS or localizer approach for runway 08. ATIS is on 127.185. We'll see if we can tune that in. Radar on 29.675 and tower on 33.205. Ground is 21.775. Now I know we're not using the frequencies. I still hold out hope for that day when we have some decent ATC that doesn't require me to deal with people who have. We'll just leave it at that. Localizer frequency. Now this is where it's going to come into play. All right. It is 108.95 IRER, India Romeo Echo Romeo. Keep that in mind. We're going to come back to that. Final approach course 079 degrees, and then the glide slope intercept, couldn't get my brain to work, is at RIPOX 3,000 feet. ILS decision altitude will refer to minimums down below. Airport elevation 781 feet. Threshold or touchdown zone elevation 760 feet. So threshold versus touchdown zone elevation. Off the top of my head, I don't remember the distance, so I know we got a couple of pilots in here, AJ, BBJ. Do me a favor, right down below, what is the distance to the touchdown markers from the threshold? If I'm not mistaken, is it 500 or 1,000 feet? I think it's 1,000 feet, right? That's important, though, because there's a difference between threshold and touchdown zone elevation. If it says touchdown zone elevation, that means it's where those markers are. If it says threshold, that means where you cross over the threshold. So something to keep in mind. Happy Gimp jumped in here. Great to have you here, man. Happy Gimp, my friend John. Happy Gimp down there in the chat. Everybody say hi to him. We've been friends for several years. I got to tell you, John's one of the nicest guys I know. And I know I say that about a lot of people. I do, because I don't. You know why? Because I don't deal with people who aren't nice. If you're not nice, I just won't deal with you. But John's a super nice guy, and I've never met anybody, and John, I hope you'll forgive me for saying this, I've never met anybody who has more gremlins in their flight sim than Happy Gimp does. I don't know what it is. Things happen to his flight sim. We're talking all the time, trying to hash out all these little things he has going on in his flight sim, and I feel terrible for him. But he's always got a chipper, upbeat attitude about it. Great guy. So everybody say hi to Happy Gimp down there in the chat for me really quick. I'm going to press on with this here. Missed approach, climbing to 5,000 feet, then turn right to intercept the RMS TACAN radial 083 outbound to Zydod and hold. That's this guy out here. This is the TACAN, okay, RMS. It's similar to a VOR. For non-TACAN equipped aircraft, that's us. Missed approach requires use of RNAV or ATC radar monitoring, right? So we have to use RNAV to navigate out to Zydod because we don't have a TACAN equipped aircraft. Transition altitude is 5,000 feet. And then if we come on down here, you can see inbugs 4,000, 3,000 before RIPOX so that we can intercept that glide slope. Should have happy lights on the right-hand side. Now, here's our minimums down here. If the glide slope is out, that just got really quiet. Please tell me something didn't go wrong. The region has missing scenery. Okay. Let's see if it'll install missing scenery. X-Plane can automatically download the latest installer from the web right for you. No, I'm going to dismiss that for now. We're going to hope that we've got something more than water there. Oh, that's going to be bad. I don't know why it's missing that, though. Okay, this has been driving me nuts back here. We're going to find out. If it's missing it, then we'll go from there. Okay, carrying on with this. So, minimums down here. If the glide slope is out, the minimum decision, or the minimum descent altitude. I've been saying that wrong for years. It's not minimum decision altitude. Are you kidding me? That can't be good. auto flight, nav, FMS speed, profile. All armed. FMS speed, auto flight. Oh, not good, guys. No auto land. Yeah, no auto land. I got no nothing. We might be hand flying all the way down. Oh, that was a little much. I hope we're not missing all the scenery. That's going to be absolute misery if we are. Why won't the autopilot re-engage? That's the problem I'm having right now. Nav. See, all that's armed. Nav is armed. Oh, this is not good, guys. Auto flight. Is this an error? What happened? I left the runway turn-off lights on. Oh, boy, this is about to get adventuresome, isn't it? I mean, we're doing fine. We're trimmed out fine right now. Yeah. Wow. Okay. Well, that's fun. So listen, here's what we're going to do here. We're going to try this anyway. I'm not quitting on this quite yet. I wonder if the autopilot kicked off and won't kick on because of something to do with not having the scenery here, which is really, really weird. Look, it's still saying though. It's saying auto throttle system off. Why though? I don't understand why it's off and staying off. It won't let me kick it back on either. Let's just go back here and take a look at circuit breakers. I don't think they actually work, but yeah, these don't actually, they're not simulated. Not down here. No, that's just radios. Anybody know? Anybody know? Alright, let me finish this up real quick because we're doing fine here. Okay, so for the ILS, we're going to put in India Romeo Echo Romeo. India Romeo Echo Romeo. Now, that's going to give us 079 degrees, 108.95. Okay? And then if we wanted to, we could choose localizer only. We're not going to do that. Takeoff approach page, we're going to do flaps 50 on our landing. That should continue to change as we continue to fly along. Progress, let's go to performance page, 50 nautical miles from top of descent. No idea why the aircraft is refusing to go back into autopilot. Let me check the chat, see if anybody had an idea here. AJ was a little late. We're stuck with ILS. 1,000 feet. 1,000 feet from the end of the runway. Yep, that's what I was looking for. Gremlins. I love that, but yes, so true. Gremlin. Yeah, the gremlins are at it in mine now. I have no idea what's going on here. We're going to have to change views here. I have never done a manual descent from 33,000 feet. I don't know if you guys have, but I have not. Track hour coming on, a little jump. And let's just center that back up. And so, yeah, you guys let me know if you know down there, maybe a EIS source. Let's go to auxiliary. Captain on 2. And let's just change those over for the moment. Let's see if we can get it to come back on. Still not. FMS speed, nav, profile, auto flight. Nothing doing. Yeah, you can see they're armed, but I wonder if pressing this again will do anything. Oh, my mouse is... Boy, the gremlins really are coming in. Yeah, it just says autopilot off. Now, this is not something I have experienced before. Yeah, flow the flight directors. Let's try it. Flight director off, back on. Let's put these back over and put that back on 1 and let's see if that does anything. Nothing. Nothing. I don't know what's going on. We'll be on our top of descent here pretty soon. Interesting. Try taking it over to 2. Cycle the flight director again. Put it on 2 this time. It's still just flashing though. It's not going to let me. I know it's not. I just don't. What I don't know is why. That's interesting, huh, guys? Did my FMC reset? No. Probably just because I was messing with this over here. Because I changed the FMS. Wow. That's something else, huh? Let's turn it off again. And then back on. Yeah, it's not changing anything. Cycling or nothing. Alright. Well, we're almost top descent here. So I guess we're going to be descending manually from 33,000 feet. 33,000 and change now because we've climbed a little since all that started. I'll tell you this. Go easy on it, right? Like, doesn't take much, just a tiny little change of the controls because we were fast, right? So we're doing 515 knots, right? Man, I am out of ideas there though. I don't really know. I would assume like real world it might be like a circuit breaker, right? But any of these work up here? Nope. I don't see anything up here. That's my track IR is not happy about how far I'm moving my head. Yeah, I don't know, guys. Well, this just made the stream more interesting, didn't it? I don't think I've ever flown manually from this far out. You come back to the right just a little bit, and we're going to start our descent here shortly as well. Yeah, I can't get it to do anything, so I guess we'll just do a good old-fashioned manual flight here. 10 nautical miles from top of descent. Yeah, you ain't kidding, Airman. Throttle position? No, I don't think so. I don't think it's the throttle position. We'll see, though, when I reduce throttles for descent here. Which I'm just kind of starting to do now anyway. Just want to see if we can get her to start creeping down. So let's see what happens if I just bring the throttles all the way back. There's the speed coming down. Change this real quick down to 3,000 just in case it decides to do it on its own. But Happy Gimp says because he came into the live stream. Yeah, it just shut off. You know, we crossed into this area and it said it didn't have any terrain or scenery, but it's clear that we have scenery down there. Let me jump outside the aircraft real quick. We're descending, we're looking fine at the moment, so let's just hop out here. So, I mean, there is terrain down here, so it must have just been a section back there. But while we were exploring that, all of a sudden I heard autopilot, and, you know, the disconnect alarm, right? And here we are now. So, I've got the throttles back at 0 right now. So, oh, you're saying grab the next waypoint and see if it reconnects? Okay, I get what you're saying. So you're saying what, clear off the current waypoint? I don't think we can do that in this case, though. I mean, I guess we could. Except that wasn't the next waypoint, so... Okay, so let's try... turning this one off. won't let me do that. We're only a little high here, so just nose it over just a little bit there. And we'll just get her back on that vertical descent path there. No, we've got scenery. I think there was just one little section where it was missing a piece of scenery for some reason. But I mean, we clearly have scenery below us, so. Because otherwise it would be all water. That's the way it is in X-Plane. If it doesn't have the terrain in there, then it's just all water. Just trying to get her to descend just a little bit faster. It's holding the speed fine. We actually just, we're literally just sitting at idle on the throttles right now. I have no idea what's going on with this thing. Direct intersection, commode. Yeah, we could try that. Intersect. Yeah. See if that does it. No, it's still flashing. When it's flashing, it won't come back on. Try cycle the flight director again. Maybe I need to cycle both of them. Let's try cycling both of them if I can get it. That one's cycled. That one's cycled. Still nothing. Won't nav, it's just nav armed. Yeah, I don't know, I'm at a loss, guys. We did do direct commode. That didn't do anything for us, unfortunately. Go right just a hair here. I mean, so far we're managing the descent fine manually, but well, we did by doing what Matthew said, having it by going direct to intersect commode. So that's what we did there. That's what TP is, and then it's direct to commode. And so we see that coming up here, but it didn't do anything for that autopilot, so not really sure. Transition altitude set at 5,000. Hey, I mean, we're pretty much right on our path, so I'm not too worried about it. Yeah, it's interesting. We're tuned in for the ILS. We're solid on our descent right now. We're maintaining. We're increasing speed just a little bit, but that's all right. I'll trade. I'll trade a controlled descent right now. We'll just have to keep an eye on it. At some point, we're gonna have to put out our spoilers. Close it down just a little bit. You see, I'm just looking at my vertical speed here. Just hold it over just a little, and then it should kind of trim itself to that. That's what it did before. So I'm just trying to get it down to about just above 2,000 feet there. And then if you let off it real quick, it'll just go back to where it was. But if you just kind of hold it a little, and then you'll see it'll come back up a little bit, but it'll be trimmed at a higher rate of descent like it is right now. So. Turn that fast, easy there. Yeah, so we're descending 2,000 feet, but then see, that was a bit too much, so we'll just bring her back just a wee bit. Yep, so we're just gonna have to keep flying it manually. Okay, AJ, enjoy your walk. 8 miles, huh? That's a good walk, buddy. That's a good walk. Enjoy it. Oh, you already went for your walk. Okay. Well, 8 miles is a long walk. Thanks for joining us, man. I really appreciate it. I really do. It's great to have you on here. Alright, we'll just keep working on controlling this descent, guys. I don't know how to reset the autopilot here. I don't know if somebody wants to Google it while I'm descending here. I have no idea why that autopilot just went kaput on us, and I don't know if there's a reset. I don't know. I don't even know why it did it. It doesn't really make sense. It's like just a complete failure in the autopilot all of a sudden. Good thing we have at least a decent idea how to fly the aircraft, right? Get a crosswind while walking. That's funny. That's funny. coming back onto our descent path here. Just need to nudge it over to the left a little bit. Start just increasing that rate of descent again just a little. Just hold that. There we go. That's a got to get her back over here, make sure we can catch that waypoint. You can see we're just off course a little bit. It's alright. We're fine. Sorry, I had to look over to the left there. Well, I guess we weren't expecting that, were we? I know I wasn't, that's for sure. Somebody Google it. How do you reset the autopilot when it goes kaput on you? Nothing I'm doing is working, so. Interesting for sure. I mean, if nothing else, we get brownie points for a full manual descent approach, right? And landing. I mean, let's be honest, it's a lot easier on autopilot, but well, she's handling really well. Really weird though. I have no idea why that autopilot just died on me there. It's pretty crazy. But that's alright. We just keep doing what we're doing. Looking good right now. Get this in just a hair quicker. There we go. Crossover DTK here. Just keep that right turn going to that next waypoint. It says we're supposed to be at 250 knots and 10,000 feet there. We're definitely way over that speed. I can tell you that for sure. Very weird that it did that though. I'm still pretty confused by it, but we need to go a little more to the right. That wind's coming off the back right side of our tail a little bit there. Descend a little bit quicker. We get the track iron back on. Little jump there. So I've had that the whole time because it's like individual settings. It's kind of weird. Oh yeah, she's descending quicker now. Up here shortly. That's alright though. That's what we want because that's going to slow us down, right? Now, good. We're going to get her there. We're going to get her there. I'm going to tell you right now. We're going to make it work. So as we continue to slow, even though our rate of descent is lower than it was before because we're slowing down, we're covering less ground horizontally while we're still descending vertically, right? So, and the idea here is to try and reduce that speed, obviously, because we need to get to 250 knots before we cross below 10,000 feet. Right now we're just over 15,000 feet, so we're probably going to miss our mark on that a little bit, but that's alright. I think we're going to be fine. So ultimately we're going for 3,000 and that's see 5,000 at Mapig, 3,000 at Ripox. I mean, we're almost there already, so she doesn't slow down very fast, does she? We'll set this for 240. That's less than 240 there. Captain Mac. There we go. Everything nice and smooth for you guys at least. That'd be something, right? At least we have smooth flight, smooth stream going on there. Alright, looking good. 14,000 feet. We're going to be just a little bit high here, but I want to get that speed down first. And then once we get that speed where we want to put it, let's go put in a little more spoiler there. Slow us down a wee bit faster while descending quicker. Like I say, we're going to be a little high, but that's okay. We're going to make it work. Let's increase our range a little bit there. And what do we have for altimeter here? I know Pat put it in the chat somewhere. 3024. So let's go ahead and switch this back over. This is HP. And, actually, we're not ready for it yet, are we? Come on. It's too early. I don't know why I'm trying to do that right now. We got to get below 5,000 feet. Let's switch his back over as well to inches. Alright, still looking good. Definitely too high, but we'll get her down there. Sorry, I'm not talking quite as much. Trying to focus on what I got to do here. We're looking pretty solid though. Speed's coming down nicely. You notice it's still showing 300 on there, even though I changed it over here. There we go. You got to click it, I guess. And there's 10,000 feet right there. We're still a little fast. So I'm just going to bring the nose up a little while we get the landing lights on. There we go. Put the runway turn-off lights on as well. There we go. Now that speed's coming down. Good. Still descending. Got a ways to go yet. Guess we're going to find out if I can fly this plane halfway decent, huh? Go ahead and get the slats out. That's going to help slow us down a little bit as well. And I'm just going to keep that speed coming down. Thank you for that. So we're looking at 158 for our approach speed. Flaps 50. I don't know what the master caution is for. Go to the next setting here. It's going to put us at flaps 15. Go ahead and get rid of those now. Look at that speed come down now. Why is it climbing? Nobody asked you to climb. Whoa. Talk about some extra lift from those flaps, huh? There we go. Boy, those flaps really gave it some lift, didn't they? Alright, we're still fine. Let's go ahead and arm the spoilers. And let's take a look at our approach checklist here. The FMC's been taken care of. Spoilers are armed. I'm trying to read this and look at this thing at the same time. What else we got here? Landing lights are on. Taxi lights are set to land. Speed brakes are armed. Auto brakes, we don't need them. And that's pretty much it. Let's focus on the flying here, huh? Okay, let's go to bring a little more trim in flaps 28 here. That's going to cause her to want to climb as well. Remember, we're still at idle thrust here, so trying to get that speed to keep coming down. We're going to be on it before you know it here. Should see that localizer kick in here pretty soon. Alright, let's let that speed keep coming down. And let's, where's my approach? There it is. Oh, it's not even showing up on there. That's awesome. Alright, that's fine. We're looking good here. So we got just a wee bit too fast on our descent. That's alright. Looking good overall. Need that speed to just keep creeping down, but we're going to start bringing in some thrust now. There we go. Looking good, looking good. got that speed holding right around 180 right now, still descending. Remember, RIPOX we want to be at, should be 3,000, right? Flight plan 3,000 at RIPOX. Yep, 3,000. We're a little low right now, that's okay. Let's use a little bit of thrust there. Start bringing that nose up. There we go, looking good. Got her trimmed out nice. I'm gonna go ahead and drop this back down one. There we go. And if we pick up the localizer here, then I can just start tracking in on that. But I'll just have to wait and see. Because it's not far from RIPOX, right? 3024. Thank you, Pat.
Altitude.
Yep, thanks. There we go. Okay, we got that set, 3024. Looking good. There's 4,000 coming, or we're coming up on 4,000 right now. We want to hold this for the moment. So let's get rid of that descent. Bring in some more thrust. Don't want to climb. Oh, stop with the flashing. Just trying to get her trimmed back out. Oh boy, look at that. That flashing is ridiculous. Okay, the localizer is alive. We've wandered way over here though. Alright, we're looking good, we're looking good. We're almost back to that next, we're supposed to level off here, but we're going to start descending again here shortly. James Z, welcome to the stream, my friend. We lost our autopilot just short of our top of descent, and we are flying everything manually, and we've got all the flashing lights going on because X-Plane 12 is having some kind of issue with the weather. I don't know what it is. Yeah, we're not going to be able to reset it right now, Matthew, but you could be right about that, so that's alright. We're looking good. We're doing fine. Just trying to get that nose to come down just a little bit. I need her to start coming down, so there you go. Come on over, baby. Not too much, though. Shooting for 3,000 at RIPOX there. Start making this turn onto the localizer. Started a little late, but we'll be alright. We'll overshoot it a little, but it won't be too bad. Looking good. Let's go ahead and drop that landing gear. That's going to put some drag out there. Wow, that's going to way overshoot it. I wasn't even paying attention. I was being an idiot. I was looking at other things. I don't know why I keep getting that caution. That's alright. We'll get her on course here. Not my best flying for sure. Next setting of flaps coming in. It's going to overspeed us a little. Be alright. We're good. We are good. So we're looking for 158. And we'll get her on course here momentarily, I promise. We are still fast. Oh, now all of a sudden this thing stopped flashing. It's going back and forth. It's on its own program here. Okay. Get her slowed down a little. And I need to get her over here on course. Should be alright here. Alright, we're looking good. Spoilers are armed. Lights are on. I hate that flashing. I apologize for that, guys. It's not me, though.
Stabilizer motion.
Still descending a little fast there. Yeah, we're supposed to be at 3,000. We just dropped below it, so. Let's go to flaps 50. Looking good. Gonna capture the localizer here. Yeah, I dropped below the 3,000 feet. That was my bad. Just come in on this localizer. We are gonna have a crosswind off the right for now. Just creep it on in there, and then we're watching for that glide slope to come in. Getting a little fast there though. There's the localizer. Let's go ahead and turn on course here. That master caution is driving me nuts. Keeps popping up. There we go. There's the localizer. Now we're probably going to drift a little because of the wind. Ugh, shot way past it. That thing is super sensitive. And I still don't have a glide slope yet. Boy, I am not flying this well at all, am I? I mean, I knew we'd drift a little, but not that much. Come on back. There we go. That should put us right on it there, to be honest with you. Not my best flying, I apologize. I'm being distracted by these flashing lights all over the place. Okay, come back over there. Get on course now. It should be that it's not much of a crosswind. There's the glide slope coming in. Okay, that should put us on approach course there. Now it should drift a little to the left because of the wind. That's alright. Okay, just starting to nose it over a little bit here so we can capture that glide slope, yeah? Capture that glide slope, you. There we go. I'm just flying the instruments right now. I can just make out the runway, but right now I'm flying the instruments here. And runway 8 is the one on the right, so get down. Jeez. Look how high it is. It just doesn't want to come down. I'm at idle thrust right now, and I'm struggling to get the aircraft to come down. There we go. And now, of course, it's going to overshoot it.
1,000.
Okay, we're fine. There we go. Come on, baby.
Approaching minimum.
Not Captain Mac's best flying, is it?
Minimum.
Continue.
400.
Alright, not my best ILS approach. This is not an easy plane to manually fly, I can tell you that.
300.
We're fine though. We're fine. We're right on the glide slope. You can see the pappings. Knew we were going to get just a hair high there.
100. 50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
Oh, come on. Minus 171. How do you like that? Pretty much greased it in there despite all the craziness, huh? Let's do a little manual braking here. There's 80 knots. Wow. How much love do I get for that complete manual approach? Not just the approach, the descent, everything. It was all manual. It was sloppy. Wasn't pretty. Definitely wasn't pretty. But if that's not worth some donations for Joe, I don't know what is, guys. You guys got to throw some donations for Joe out for that, right? All right, we're gonna cross over. That's where we're going right there. So leave the landing lights on for a minute. Since, excuse me, hiccup there. Since we're gonna cross that runway anyway, we're still going a little quick for that turn. There we go. Ooh, what'd you guys think? Let me know. Don't beat me up too hard down in the comments. Come on, click it. There we go. Anything? Nice. James says nice. Thank you, James. You get that flash all the time when you're flying this, huh? That's interesting. Let's start bringing those flaps up. That was just crazy, and everything's reset now, right? Like, it's all reset now. It looks like it is, but it's still in yellow. Alright, that should bring everything up. Boy, that's narrow right there. We're probably barely squeezing through there. Remember, this is Air Force Base. This is not really designed for this airplane. Although I would think they would have some of those tankers out there that used to be MD-11s, right? That's okay. Well, I'll tell you what, guys. That was, that was pretty crazy. It was not what I would call my finest approach by any means. I was fighting a little bit, trying to keep it on the localizer and on the glide slope. And that's just from not manually flying this plane a lot. I mean, let's be honest about that, right? You don't manually fly this plane very much, and you're going to run into that. And it's a simulator. You don't have feel. Sometimes that can cause a little bit of issues. Although, to be fair, and we've got some real-world pilots on here, they'll tell you that you know, feel isn't everything, because when you're in the clouds and you can't see anything, you don't fly by the seat of your pants. You fly by your instruments, plain and simple. So, either way, I think it was alright. James thinks it was alright. It was minus 171, so it's not like it was a terrible landing. It was a little long for sure. But I'm actually pretty happy with that. Pretty smooth landing. And hand flying it all the way in on the approach was definitely interesting. I would say the descent was more interesting than anything. I've never descended from 33,000 feet manually. Still no idea what happened with it. That is absolutely crazy to me. I can get those landing lights off now, huh? Take taxi lights off too. This one's kind of weird. It's like in a funky spot. There we go. And the high intensity's off as well. And we're just going to pull her right up here. Nice and easy. Bring her to a gentle stop. Since we don't have anybody guiding us in anyway. There we go. And let's go ahead and get that parking brake set, shall we? Alright, parking brake is set. That resets the FMCs, in case you guys were wondering. Let's get the track IR off. Little jump over here. And we should have our APU up and running now, right? Yep, we sure do. We'll put the air on as well. And then we'll jump down here. And we'll shut them off in the same order we turned them on. 3, 1, and 2. Fantastic. Interesting that it's switched over, like... Why? Now I clicked it, right? Did you guys see me click it, or did I mess it up somehow? I was sure I clicked it. Thank you very much, Matthew. Yeah, you're absolutely right, Pat. We really don't hand fly enough, do we? We put so much reliance on that autopilot. Yeah, it's pretty funny. Had your toes out looking for the runway. Yeah, yeah. You definitely start trying to find that runway pretty quick. I'd say overall though, the landing was actually really good, right? It was, you know, it was a good, 171 feet per minute. That's smooth. That's smooth in the real world. So a smooth landing. Let's get the ground power over here, get the chocks in place, get the stairs, all that stuff. So nice smooth landing. Not the prettiest approach. I was kind of up and down a little bit, right? I was kind of fighting the left and right to get it on the localizer. And that's just lack of doing it, right? Like Pat said down there, we just don't hand fly it enough. I really need to spend more time hand flying approaches and stuff, and I might start doing that a little more on my videos and on my streams, just to bring all that together, right? Because you never know when you're going to lose your autopilot at 33,000 feet for whatever reason. Steve, great to have you here. You missed an amazing flight. It was a lot of fun, but I'm glad you dropped by. Really appreciate it very much. Everybody say hi to Steve down there if you get just a second. And we're actually just wrapping it up, but I really appreciate you dropping in, Steve. Thank you very much. Alrighty, folks, let's take a look at our shutdown checklist here. I do apologize for all the flashing. I don't know what's going on. Somebody else said up here that they get that flashing all the time. It's pretty crazy. This is the first time I've had it. James, you were the one saying it. He says he gets this flash every time he flies X-Plane 12. They really need to fix it. So I will say this. There is an update today for X-Plane 12, but I didn't run it. And the reason I didn't run it is because I didn't want to have a problem with the MD-11, right? So the MD-11 is beta for X-Plane 12, and I just didn't want to have a problem with it. But I will say this, as I'm going through the shutdown checklist here, you guys can listen in, but what I'd like you to do is somebody tell me, what do you want to see next week? What do we want to do for our live stream next week? You guys throw some suggestions down there in the comments. I'm going to go through this shutdown checklist really quick. So, taxi light needs to be off, which it is. Landing lights are off as well. Runway turn-off lights are off. High-intensity lights are off. Beacon light can go off at this point as well. Parking brake is set. The engines are all shut down. 1-3 or 3-1 then 2. It says 1-3 then 2. I guess I went backwards, but seatbelt signs can go off. No smoking signs can go off as well. Doors are already set. Gangways are already set. It does tell you to turn the IRSs off at this point, so we'll go ahead and do that. That's fine. We don't need them right now. Then all these go to fail because that's your yaw damper and all that stuff, so that makes sense. External power, is it there yet? It is. We can turn external power on, take the APU off, APU bleed can go off, and turn the APU itself off. Anti-ice, I could have turned that off sooner. I got so busy working with the approach, the descent and the approach, that I completely forgot about that. APU's already off. Emergency lights can go off as well. Nav light can come off at this point. External power is going to stay on. We're not going to go all the way to cold and dark, so that means that is going to wrap it up for this one, ladies and gentlemen. Isn't that a beautiful airplane? I don't know what it is about the MD-11. It's just a beautiful bird to me. I really love this airplane. This was a great flight suggestion. I don't remember who suggested it, and I apologize for that. But that was a great flight suggestion from Shannon down here to Ramstein. That was absolutely fun. I had a great time. Even though the autopilot went out, that just made it more interesting, didn't it? Felis 742. I don't even know. What is that, James? Is that... Oh, you know what? There is a 747-204 X-plane, isn't there? Here's the problem, though. I'd have to buy it. I'd have to buy it. I don't have the money to buy it. Thank you for the compliment, Happy Gimp. I really appreciate it. It was a... Yeah, I think your gremlins jumped into my sim through the chat there or something, huh? That was a good time. Hey, Don, you made it in. Fantastic. You have a Facebook meeting on Tuesdays. Not to worry. It was only Tuesday this week because tomorrow night is the Colorado Avalanche home opener, and they won the Stanley Cup last year, so I want to watch that with my son-in-law. That's why we did it tonight. For those of you who don't know, Don is my neighbor. He's also my brother in Christ, great friend. We're working on some ministry stuff together. We get an opportunity to fellowship every Thursday. It's fantastic. Don is a great guy, and I'm just really glad he's able to jump in here really quick. I don't know if you saw, Don, we're up to, so it shows on the live stream there, $290. We're actually at 300 or a little over 300 and pushing almost $400 now, or just a little over $400 for Joe's PC. So super excited about that. So, and you missed the fun, Don. So we were at 33,000 feet cruising along, and the autopilot stopped working in the airplane. Just completely went kaput. I couldn't get it to reset no matter what I did. So I had to descend, approach, and land all manually, no autopilot. It was a little, it wasn't pretty, but the landing was. The approach was a little ugly, but the landing was smooth as butter. It's like butter in a piece of toast. It was good stuff. So I really hope that you guys enjoyed the flight. For those of you that jumped in a little bit late, not to worry. It's going to be uploaded as a video to YouTube, and you can rewatch all the exciting adventures as soon as that is up and running. Appreciate every one of you coming on here. I had a blast. I hope that you guys did too. And I'm going to wrap it up. So that's it. That's all and no more, ladies and gentlemen. Until next time, as always, keep the blue side up unless otherwise instructed by ATC. God bless you all and have an absolutely wonderful day.